welcome to our Morning Throners podcast.
I'm Nelson.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Glow.
And I'm Kyle.
And we're the fucking Morning Throners.
And welcome back to another episode of your favorite Song of Ice and Fire podcast. We're the Morning Throners talking Tyrion 9.
Niner.
Tyrion 9. Kyle, what do you think before I say anything? Absolute banger of a chapter.
Yeah, man,
What
this
do you
was
think,
one
Kyle?
that we got to one here where like I want to keep reading. It's
Best
this
chapter
was one that
yet.
makes me hate the podcast, you know, because it's
Yeah.
like I gotta stop.
I feel like back in the day, I got shit for not liking a podcast. And I'm not saying we're on this trend, but I definitely got shit back in the day for not liking the non-action-y podcast. I feel like Nelson grilled me a bit.
Well, the thing
It
is,
was mainly
if you-
just Catelyn ones. You would just fucking hate on Catelyn ones all the
No,
time.
it's not true. I just hate Kat. I don't hate her chapters. I just hate Kat. I made that abundantly clear at this point.
Yeah, so what I will clarify is one thing that I don't like is like, if you look at people who do like 1 out of 10 reviews on stuff and you just like plot all of them, it's just not like what they say the distribution is like doesn't match what, you know what I mean? Like there's like, it's like all the like 90% of the scores are 8s, 9, like above 7s, right? There's just
Right.
nothing low scores. We're in here saying we like most of the podcast, most of the chapters. It's different. We're not rating the chapters on a 1 to 10 scale
Should we
comparatively to
start?
each other. No.
Should we start?
No, because that gets tricky.
8.2.
I'm saying
I gave it an
we-
8.2.
Obviously, we say we like all. Obviously, we say we like all the chapters, even not the great chapters, because well, at least
we come in.
3 of us should. Because why would we be doing this podcast if we weren't like pretty big
come
fans
in-
you
of the
don't
book
have to
stuff?
like
You know what I mean?
everything about something.
And we'll say, like I said, the last Danny chapter wasn't great, right? Like I wasn't a huge fan of the last.
4.7.
I'm saying we call it out when it happens. There you go. I don't know, dude. When you think about it, that's one of the chapters that if you're ranking it, that's probably like a 1, right?
No, he
Like
just gave it
compared-
4.7.
Yeah,
He already
4.7.
Yeah.
You're still going to read it.
No, jeez, there's
Yeah.
still world
There's
building.
There's still some world
still gonna
building.
read it. Of course, that's how books work, Jeff. You gotta read it from
Nah,
start
you
to
can skip. The thing about these books is you can skip
No,
and probably be okay.
Not true.
Timeline doesn't
Not
matter.
true. Not true.
In any order you want, it'll make sense.
Timeline
You-
for sure doesn't matter, and you could skip a chapter and be okay. It's like an episode on a show.
I think, Jeff, you just proved my point exactly. I would agree that the Danny chapter was a 4.7 chapter out of like all chapters I've read in any book. I'd put that at like a 4.7, maybe out of everything. But if you look at all the chapters I've read in A Song of Ice and Fire, it's down in the 1s. Just because
Okay.
I've read, right, like 500
Yeah.
chapters, and
No,
that
I mean,
is
say like
literally
we get
bottom 30.
some
A
cool
one.
action that happens
He could just,
in this one.
He could just rip it out of the book and it wouldn't be a big deal. He's all right with it. Guys, he's ripping it out right now.
If I had to rip a if I was told to rip a chapter out, I bet you that's like one of the closer ones.
All right.
ones
I
up
don't know.
there.
I think there's been some pretty stupid ones up on the wall too, but I digress. Or Bran.
You mean
or
with
Bran.
John?
Bran might have had a really stupid one along the way.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, Kyle, you liked it?
Nah,
Yeah, back to this chapter.
It was like an
Kyle, what are
8.2.
your predictions?
We can't get with the 10-point scale.
No, I was just echoing Jeff. No, I thought it was good. Liked it.
It was cool. I agree.
Took a
I mean,
turn
it's-
there that I was not ready for. I don't think. I mean, you had to know it was coming, right? But
Yeah.
we
I mean, he
we
was
have been
layering it on
saying
pretty thick.
yeah,
we have been saying that Kyle likes the chapters with death in them, and this one has the most death we've seen in a while.
In a while.
I don't think there's actually going to be too much work to do for the frag count, though.
We don't.
It's
yeah.
all townsfolk.
Mob. Is it just mob?
Mostly the townfolk wins, I think. At least what we hear.
yeah, it
of.
happened in the chapter. Even though you don't directly see it, like it's live action happening in the chapter.
Yeah. So
Can
yeah,
we
we'll
add
get-
the
we'll
small
get into some
folk
of
to the
that. A
frag
group? I don't
count?
know. I'll look and see if we have any groups already. I think we've been trying to avoid doing that.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I know we don't do this much, and I don't want to dwell on it, but pretty cool show chapter too, or show scene,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's all I have to say.
I think one of the reasons too is because it's pretty faithful. There's a lot of characters that
Yeah.
aren't there. Like I don't think
Yeah.
Lady Tanda is a character in the show. at
Right,
all.
it's
But,
just
like
not
everything
as
else is
built
pretty
up.
similar.
But
yeah.
yeah.
Show
And you-
spoilers,
and you
guys,
get-
stop.
Yeah,
Just
chill.
one kind of fake spoiler. You get Sansa's POV of it,
Yeah.
and
It's a little different in that regard too. But yeah, no
and
spoilers there.
then- All right, so we start out on the dock saying bye to Princess Myrcella.
Bye-bye,
Bye-bye.
Myrcella.
Early
Bye-bye.
map for y'all guys.
Yes,
I kind
loving
of
her
forgot
early.
where she was
Matt.
going at first. Full disclosure.
Yeah. Well, they also throw you a curveball early and make you think that she's going to Bravos.
Well,
But
yeah,
then
they
Well,
and
she
then they
is.
explain that. Well, she is, but like it
Yeah.
makes it seem
She's
like at
traveling
first
to
she's going to
Bravos.
Bravos to like stay at Bravos. And like, whoa, what the fuck's she doing up there?
Well, and
We
they
get
I mean,
there.
he's given like 4 different plans with her. So
Mhm.
I like jumbled them all together and I forgot exactly where she was going. So
Yeah. And also, while I'm pulling up this map, how about the names of these ships?
Pretty cool.
no,
Pretty
they're
cool.
fucking Baratheon lame ass names. Just named him after himself.
Lion
about the
Star,
Speedwind?
Bold Wind,
We got another wind ship.
Lady Liana.
Yeah, because
That's kind of fucked up.
Nelson. Of course, there's gonna be a lot of wind ships.
I'm just saying they were like surprised when Theon had or Asha had Black Wind after Rob had Grey Wind. Like we were saying, that was like, that was a different thing. That wasn't even after a ship. Grey Wind's a wolf, but we were like, Grey Wind, then Black Wind. Now we got Bold Wind. That's
What
I
was
thinking of.
Black
Okay.
Wind? The fucking
Black Wind was
bird?
Asha's ship.
Oh,
Asha's ship.
not the hawk.
Or Asha's
Nah.
ship.
Yeah,
is
what
Black
was
Wind. That was Proud Wing, I think.
Okay, yeah, it was. Was that Stannis or something?
Yeah. Or maybe Robert's one.
Yeah, it was them, the Baratheons.
All right, now talk us through this map.
So the only thing I think the one really important thing here is he tells him to stay with inside of the shore till he gets past Cracklaw Point, which is this. It's hard to read, but it's past this little peninsula, is would you call it here?
Yeah.
And he says stay out of sight of Dragonstone, which is actually this, like right here and right next to the red line. So he's cutting it close with Dragonstone.
Yeah, I mean that's a stupid. Why wouldn't they go through the south and then out and around?
I guess that they have help in Bravos, right? They're like getting more. What's he exactly say? He says once they get in Bravos, they're getting more ships or something, right?
Yeah, the Bravosi are gonna help him.
Yeah,
who's gonna
I'm
attack
saying,
the
like,
Bravosi? That'd be stupid.
Go off the southern tip of Blackwater Bay,
Yep.
straight across the narrow sea, and then
See,
around.
then you're going Storm's End, and that's where Stannis
No,
has
no,
his
no,
fleet.
no.
I think
No,
this
no,
is
no.
a big avoid Stannis' fleet trip, right?
No,
Stannis'
no.
fleet is at Storm's End.
This is gonna be the longest boat ride ever.
Dude,
right-
yeah, for real.
Right out. Just instead of going north to Dragonstone, go where all this room is south of Dragonstone.
Okay,
And
and then out to
Straight east, and then
out
up.
Macy's Hook.
Yeah, maybe Macy's Hook is just bigger than the map
Maybe-
shows.
Maybe you can't get out there. Maybe it's not deep enough.
The other thing is one of these. This is Driftmark, which is the Valerion. All of these islands out here are sworn to Stannis, right? So all these little islands,
Okay.
pretty much they're all Stannis. So I think the point is you got to stay away from these guys, and then you can't really go south here because of Storm's End.
I gotcha. All right, never mind.
And
Whatever.
also, if they have help in Bravos, makes sense, right?
So they're going super high to Bravos and then straight back down just to hope to get some more fighters with them.
Yeah, they don't exactly say what the point, like what their path is south, but I'm assuming they're just staying mostly on the Essos coast and then just crossing over down here in the Stepstones, and then Sun Spears right here at the bottom of Dorne.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still not used to these map, like the locations of these places. This is not the voyage that I imagined. What was happening?
You're not used to the south map, right? We're kind of used to the Riverlands mostly at this point, but yeah, gets weird to the south.
Well, in the east too. Like I wasn't ready for Bravos to be way northeast there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
All right. Map gone.
Map gone.
Map gone.
Back in the backpack map.
Yak.
So yeah, did we mention that the one ship was named after Lyanna, which is probably Robert named this ship, is what I'm guessing.
I mean, I
after-
said it. We didn't hone on
Yeah,
it.
you
But
just brushed
after
it. You
Ned's-
just said it was fucked up, Jeff. I heard you.
I'm just a
I'm
guess.
sure
I don't know. I
Cersei
have no
wasn't
idea if
happy
it's
about
true.
that. But
Yeah.
so
Where's
Tom
my
and
Lady Cersei ship, huh?
There's probably one.
Lion Star.
Yeah.
It's
That's
called.
He named one after his wiener, man. Rob's hammer.
Yeah. So one thing about sending these ships off is Tyrion is saying that their fleet is small enough already. I don't know if he's talked about their fleet size yet.
Well,
but
he
said
hasn't
it's
given
not
us
great.
numbers, but a lot of them have gone.
They're
I'm
already
assuming
inadequate
the first time Stannis left, he just took a bunch of ships.
Yeah, so like at the very beginning of the books, when we weren't even getting a POV in King's Landing, Stannis was dipping out of King's Landing because of the Jon Arryn thing, and at that point, because he was, I guess, what was his
Master of Ships.
Master of Ships, was that it?
I think he was
Something like
Master
that.
of War. Master of War,
which I
Master
guess
of
is
Ships.
probably both. I'm not sure, but either way, he probably had command of the ships, and he's just like, all right, let's come with me, and he goes out, takes them to Dragonstone with him. So now they are very empty-handed here, and it also explains why Stannis has a lot of ships.
Well, I mean, it kind of was evident for a while that they were low on ships here in town because it was never an option presented by anybody to like, oh, let's use our navy to do anything.
To go after him,
Yeah, it's always been
Yeah.
like shit. Stannis is coming with this fleet of boats.
Tommen's crying like a little bitch out on the dock.
What's the deal with the Dornish here?
So big deal. They're not really doing anything.
They're going to move their
they're-
armies to one location just to scare other people,
And
basically.
they're not really going to do anything unless attacked upon, right? So
Yeah, like they're not going to do anything. So like right now, Doran is calling his banners. So they're all coming to Sunspear, or I guess like maybe all the armies are going to their local lords, and then he'll send out ravens to tell them what to do from there. I'm not exactly sure how calling your banners works, but that's happening. And then once Myrcella gets there, then they're going to go and like defend the border or like marshal on the border type thing. But even then, they're not really going to ever help, which really surprises me that like Cersei was like okay for this, right? Like she's not happy with sending away her daughter, and like if she knows that they're really not going to like come and actually like help, why is she like not be like, all right, fuck this deal then? Myrcella's not going anywhere.
the only thing I can think of is like maybe Doran is big enough. I mean, just we don't have to bring the map back up, but Doran's pretty large. Maybe has like a decent sized army that like now that they have a little bit of like maybe I don't know. At this point,
I get what you're saying, but then if I'm Cersei, what I would think to that is, but if they're not going to leave their country to attack these people against us, why would they leave to attack us?
Sure.
Just
all right. So who else? Who else could you though?
I don't know. I don't know if it's worth like spending too much time on.
Yeah,
I mean,
just really quickly, Robin and Aaron. Lysa hates the Lannister, so let's just axe them off. You could send her maybe to the Reach for another Tyrell brother.
I mean, you don't have to send her anywhere, right?
But they've already got like a Joffrey Marjorie thing in place, so. But you need to. Me, marriage is the only way you're going to have alliances, and they're in the middle of war.
I got you.
I
got you. Yeah. So you're saying where else can you go? Yeah. Where else can you turn?
Yeah.
I'm just saying like
they're backed into a corner. This is probably the best deal they had on the table, so they took it.
To me, this is close to zero though. And if I'm Cersei, I guess I get what you're saying for like Jeff. Like Jeff, you're thinking like Tyrion. Jeff's thinking like Tyrion, like what else could we do with this because this isn't doing well. As Cersei, I'm just be like, fuck this. I'm keeping my daughters. I feel like how she would
I don't
be.
know if she really has the choice either.
Well, and I think Tyrion has plans to try and get him to attack Dorne.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, even mentions like, how can I get Stannis' bannermen to attack? Which
so like, I mean, that's all it'll take.
Just a little nudge. That's all you need.
If you got two armies next to each other, and if they ever end up next to each other, you know,
and they have.
It wouldn't be hard.
I will say there have been like obviously battles between those like close lords in the past, right?
Yeah.
There's been just because they're just like right now the fucking who's fighting in the north, the over the Hornwood lands, the Boltons and the Mandalays. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that isn't the first time they fought, right? So
right. So all right. So he's on the deck of Robert's hammer.
Yep.
Which is actually King Robert's hammer, but nicknamed Rob's hammer.
Rob's hammer by the men. Yep.
He ends up talking to the captain, and they just kind of explain. We already saw the map of the path. They're going up the Roberts. They're coming back down and around. And he's like, all right, like we know the deal if you see another ship, right? So just kind of go over the plan if you do see an enemy.
One small ship, you fucking attack them. If it's multiple ships, they dump Myrcella off on the fastest ship. I
think she's already on the fast ship.
Well, they consolidate and then send two ships ahead, the fast ship and something else. Then all the other ships attack.
Yeah, if it's more than one, the bold one will stay with the Sea Swift, which is the one that Myrcella is on, and the rest will stay and fight.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Who else is going with Myrcella? You got a special
Eris
guard.
Oakheart.
Little princess guard.
So this is a King's Guard. Right. Well, we can talk about the total King's Guard count at the end of the chapter, but
not a whole lot.
Yeah. Yeah, we're running out. So he's leaving with Myrcella. I don't know if we know too much about him before.
Eris
Oakheart. See if Sansa's thought anything about him before.
Yeah, it's a very knightly Kingsguard name, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, oak. Yeah, just the wood, just a strong wood.
Hard.
I guess Tyrion has already thought this. The only thing I have in my notes is that in Tyrion 5, he thought that he was thinking of planning to send this guy with Myrcella. So there you go. Good job, Tyrion. All came through.
Mm-hmm.
Good job, Tyrion.
It's 1-for-1 on his predictions.
We also get the update of what's going on with Stannis because he's like thinking to himself like, motherfucker, if he wanted to attack like right now, it'd be the time. But he's sieging Storm's End still.
Yep. So he's still dealing with Courtney Penrose. Let's take a look at where this is in the time, where I got this in my timeline.
Doesn't matter.
I have this before the last Theon chapter and about a week after the last, 10 days after the last Tyrion chapter, which is when they send Littlefinger away.
Okay.
That's the only thing that's really relevant. I could get a
So he
the
got
last
there
Tyrion
in
one.
10 days and made a deal, is what you're saying?
No, they haven't heard from Littlefinger yet.
Yeah, we haven't heard yet. So
Tyrion and Varys each have a thought of what it could be. We can cover it now. It doesn't really matter when it happens, right? So Tyrion thinks we haven't heard from him yet. I don't know if that's good or bad. Varys thinks he might have been like attacked on the road. Tyrion just thinks that it means that Mace Tyrell said no and didn't even bother to send her. The way I took what Tyrion, we can get into what he like the actual quote later, but the way I took it was Tyrion thinks that Mace Tyrell just like fuck you, kicked him out of the doorstep, didn't even like really hear him out or even bother to send a Raven back to King's Landing, and just told him to get packing and come back. But again, 10 days, I don't even know if it's long enough to get there.
What was his plan? I thought it was about this whole Myrcella thing.
No, Littlefinger was going to try and marry Joffrey.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
all right. Tyrion also thinks to himself, what Stannis is like, just please give me a fortnight, and our what do they call them? What are they called? Winch towers.
Yeah,
The winch towers will be good.
I think this is the first mention
It
of
will
this.
all be done.
It is, for sure. I got a little more glimpse into this chain thing. Another clue, but I still have no idea beyond what I said already.
I don't even know what a
is
winch
it,
tower
Kyle?
is.
Come on, man, make a guess.
A winch tower is like, something to lift something up. Like a winch is like kind of like a crane,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, I have a winch on my Jeep.
Yeah, you dumb. You know what a winch is.
Yeah, so Kyle, what could they be doing with a winch tower?
So I still think it has something to do with this chain, tightening the chain up or something, but I have no idea, man. I meant with like the bay, that whole thing, blocking off the bay. But
Gotcha.
Come on, Watson, use your power of deduction. Figure it out.
I don't think it's that. I don't think there's been that many clues yet.
Just
Yeah,
that they're building a
chain, and now we got
chain
winch
and a
towers.
winch tower. All right.
Big chain, yeah.
So she's on the dock. She's getting blessed.
Probably the
Dude's
last
fat
person
as-
this high septon over blessed.
Dude's fat as fuck.
Dude is fat as fuck.
Very fat. Kieran, he couldn't even really hear what's going on. He's just like, oh my God, hurry up. The gods have better things to do than listen to you, and so do I. Let's get this over with.
Yeah. He could also just feel dirty eyes on him and a little crowd muttering.
Yes, this is it's like on the way off the boat. He tells the captain if he does the job well, he gets a knighthood.
Yep, a knighthood will be waiting for him.
And yeah, when Tyrion's waddling down the dock, he feels like no one's actually openingly laughing, but tensions are kind of high already.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, he's practically in enemy territory here, right? They're outside
Absolutely.
to keep its walls, Like,
Yeah, and what he says is he's well fed and ugly, and they're all starving.
Yeah.
Is to put it way too.
Literally just like eating people, right? At this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we've heard they're definitely
Unknowingly
right?
eating
Yeah.
brown filled with people.
I feel like they've said like, I feel like they were putting butchers in their own ovens and stuff wasn't eating them, but I feel like we did hear something about cannibalism from like a
Joffrey
report
told
to
him to eat the
Tyrion.
dead.
Joffrey
Yeah,
did
he
tell
said,
him to
eat your
dead.
own.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
they did.
I thought someone had mentioned like we're not really sure what they're putting in the brown anymore.
Yeah, and then Arya said you could get like a fistful of coppers for a litter of puppies
Yeah.
from a pot shop. That kind of so not good. But that was
That
when
was a
days
long time ago.
that was when times were good in King's Landing.
Yeah, and flea bottom.
I mean, she was eating pigeons and shit, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Arya, yeah.
he walks down and joins Cersei and the two boys,
Yep.
and
Tommen's a little sniffly eyed. Joffrey's chilling.
Tommen's being he's only like 8, right? So it's okay. You can cry. He's got a little empathy, which is
6, maybe 7 now. 6 probably
Okay.
at the beginning of Game of Thrones.
and
Yeah, probably
then
close to 8, you're
Cersei up there is just smiling.
She seems kind of like oblivious, right? She's just chilling, talking to Lancel, flapping her
Yeah.
gums.
Laughing it up. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah. And Tyrion, while he sees her like smiling, he's like, "Oh, you laugh it up. I know something. Lancel finally paid off." So
Yeah.
what has Tyrion learned about Cersei from his spy Lancel?
She's trying to have her own rogues, essentially. Have some own behind the scenes paid off sellswords,
Yeah.
the Kettle Blacks.
Yep. So are they getting more for her as well, or is
That's
it
what
just
I didn't
these
understand.
guys? It kind of sounded like these guys were on like a mission like Bronn is to like go find like kind of like a mission like a group of sellswords for Tyrion, but I'm not. I wasn't 100% sure like whether she was just getting these guys on
Yeah,
on
it
her side.
says she meant to use the Kettle Blacks to buy her own force of sellswords.
Yeah.
So like she was trying to buy like a guard, essentially, because like you said before, the King's Guard's all leaving here, and the town's already pretty messed up.
And if she and Tyrion are if she doesn't see them as like actually on the same side, which I don't think they see each other as the same side, and he has clansmen, Braun is getting sellswords, the guy who actually is like the head of the Gold Cloaks is in Tyrion's pocket, like it makes sense why.
Yeah, for sure.
He just sent off all her actual people 2 chapters ago to go with Sir Cleo's Frey back to River Run. Like all of the actual Lannister guards, he sent them back like on purpose, right? He told like Varys this, and he's like, Varys even said like, "Oh, your sister will be anxious." He's like, "I like it when she's anxious. She's stupider that way." And here she is, like basically reacting to that, and Tyrion knows exactly what's going on.
Tyrion's paying them off too.
He also says, "Is it right now or later?" Like, I like her. She's nicer when she thinks she's outwitting me.
Exactly, and I think that's what he was thinking back then. He might have said that back in that other chapter with Varys. And here she is thinking she's outwitting him, and he's actually doing that witting.
Yeah,
so
and she ends up like defending him later on and like agreeing with him. So
yeah.
All right, so a great Sea of Thieves tactic here. Nels, what is it?
Hide on the deck of the boat in a barrel. Pretend you're a barrel for a while.
That's what Nelson does.
Like 3 hours,
14 hours, but
yeah. Let them do all the work, and then you pop out, kill them in 10 seconds, and steal like 4 hours worth of work. That's a great Sea of Thieves tactic.
Jesus Christ, that's what you do, Nelson?
Come on, Nels. What's the strat?
They push off to Cheers.
No. Jesus, come on. She's sailing under white sails.
Yes, diaper sails.
Nice plain sails, so you don't know.
Yeah,
you're not ready for the fight.
That is a good one. We call that in Sea of Thieves diaper sails.
Yeah.
Where, because you just look like you basically don't put on any special skins on your boat. You don't show off that you have over 1,000 hours in the game like a total fucking nerd. And you fucking just go off everyone else like, ooh, look at this noob. I'm going to go roll up on him, dumpster him. When they board your boat, you're just standing there downstairs, $1 million lantern in hand, blunderbuss to the face. Ha! I'm not a noob. And you just sail away.
You Robert's hammer.
You just sound like a noob. The way
this is a purely fantastical story that Nelson just told that has never happened in his career.
Tonight, Kyle and I are going to get on Sea of Thieves, and I'm going to make him dress his character up like a girl, and I'm going to dress up like Sir Ares Oakheart, and we're going to sail around, and anybody we encounter, I'm like, Myrcella's making it the door! No!
Proximity chat those asses.
Fuck. All right. So here we get Joffrey yelling at Tommen for crying.
Yep.
And he's like, princes don't cry. And then Sansa gives us the dissertation on princes that do cry.
Yeah, and we get some weird things
well,
here.
Actually,
back in 90 after Conquest.
Well, she's all heard. She's not being like a historian. She's singing. She's like, do you hear that song WAP? In that song, they say that fucking Prince Aemon the Dragon Knight cried when his sister married his brother, which they don't really say. I don't think they spell that out in this chapter, but that's what happened. They were 2 Targaryens, brothers, and the sister married the one, and the other brother cried when it happened, which is way weirder. Yeah. It's way weirder that way than the way Sansa makes it seem. It's like a double Jaime Cersei situation here.
Look how surprised Glow is to find that information out.
And then the other 2 is less interesting, but they're 2 brothers who just killed each other and then each died with a tear on their cheek.
Well, they're just stupid.
It's what the singer said.
Yeah, why do you guys got to kill each other? Like, what the fuck?
Well, it could have been like a Joffrey, Renly Stannis thing. I mean, they didn't kill each other, but like if that would have happened, right, they're just on opposite sides.
So we also learn about the other captains that are sailing out.
Wait, hold on. You glossed over Joffrey saying, "Shut up, Sansa. I'll give you a mortal wound."
Well, he tells, "I'll have Meryn give you." Joffrey's not going to hit her. We know that, but yeah, same result. Yep. Yeah. So this is kind of like the thing. Like when he does that, Tyrion looks to Cersei like kind of like you're in a public place and you got like a little baby just like freaking the fuck out, and you're like, "Mom, what the hell are you doing here?" And Tyrion does it, and she's like laughing with Balon Swan. Like, does she? And he's like, does she actually not know? I think he was thinking this too. Like when he was having people rip Sansa's clothes off and like beat her. I think Tyrion was like, Cersei has to see like what this kid is, and here she's like, does she really not? So I don't know. I feel like Cersei. I don't know how you don't see what Joffrey is, dude. But you just at least hear stories, and you can't be like, nah, like telling them to eat the dead's okay. I mean, Cersei's pretty horrible too, so maybe her just standards are just so.
I just think she's not worried about it. Yeah.
I don't know.
Whatever, he can do what he wants. He's king, and then she's trying to make all this other stuff happen. She's not worried about him.
Yeah.
That's the way I read it.
Yep. So then, to what Jeff was saying earlier, these captains, Varys has picked them, and he's assured Tyrion all utmost loyalty. But Tyrion's not so sure about Varys either, so he's like, I don't know how much that goes for, so whatever. And he starts thinking to himself, I need to rely on more than just Varys. Like,
I can't trust him.
He's a bottleneck for me. I need my own informers.
I mean, informers just aren't walking around though. Like, all right, I'm ready to hire you.
What I was thinking is later in this chapter, he gets like a lot of information from somebody else who's not like he gets a lot of various type information.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's all right. So then they go into the whole Littlefinger thing here, right? Like he talks about how there's no word from him. Doesn't mean anything really. It could mean all or nothing. Nobody had any idea what happened to him.
If I were Mace Tyrell, I would sooner have Joffrey's head on a pike than his cock in my daughter.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Right, fuck Joffrey. I don't. The thing is, does Mace Tyrell really know Joffrey? And
yeah.
I feel like
what's the public persona on him outside of King's Landing?
The other thing is, I don't remember the exact deal, but I feel like I was pretty much convinced that it was going to work out.
Yeah,
like I feel like it made sense.
Time to leave the docks.
Time to leave the docks. We start heading out.
Yep.
Sitting on the dock of the bay.
We got a whole column of people here.
Watching the tides.
Starting with 2 of the Kingsguard and their lances.
No. Starting with Sir Jacelyn Bywater, the commander of the Gold Cloaks.
Damn it.
Sir Aaron Santigar, who is the master. He's not. He might be the master at arms. He's like the armory guy.
Okay.
The armorer guy. The only time I've ever heard him before is because when Kat came to the King's Landing to find out about the dagger, this is the guy she wanted to go talk to. This is the guy that Sir Roderick went to talk to. It's literally the only time I've ever heard him.
You know what really sucks about like his positioning? He's holding a banner, right?
Yeah, not great.
This is like the Revolutionary War. Yeah, all the time. It's like, come on. Like you send the drummer boy out, and it's, all right, we won't dwell on it.
Put like a pointy end on the end of the banner or something, right? Like
I will say you guys might be right because I think
look what Danielle's trying to bring me right now.
Water.
Are you kidding me?
Go get a beer. Come on,
Danny.
I think one of those chapters when we were talking about how Brienne was going to be the banner bearer, like after Renly was going to be the vanguard or whatever.
In the battle. I
was like, oh, it's stupid. She has to carry the banner the whole time. I mean, here, as soon as shit kicks off, these guys drop the banner. Or at least the one guy does. The one guy gets fucked up. The other guy drops the banner and gets a sword out. So, I mean, maybe you guys are right about that. I feel like I was arguing that she's going to, like, for honor's sake, not be allowed to let go of the
carry this thing around the whole
time. Or, like, hold it in her left hand and go no shield.
She has to ride up to everybody she sees and show it to him and then ride to the next person without getting killed. Is that how that works? She gets points for showing more people.
Yeah. All right. Let's get through the column. So up top, we got Jacelyn Bywater, who's the Gold Cloaks commander. Aaron Sandigar, the armory guy, and then Balon Swan, who's just a knight who's chilling, not in the Kingsguard.
But he also has Joffrey. A banner.
He also, he is the other banner.
Then Joffrey and Sansa.
Yep. And then they each kind of have a Kingsguard.
They're flanked by the Hound and Mandon Moore.
Exactly. Then we got Tommen and Preston Greenfield.
Snuffling still.
I guess it's like 4. I guess it's like 2, 4, 2, 4.
Yeah.
Right. So that was they're 2. Preston and Tommen are 2. And then the next 4.
Lancel.
Mr. Lancel.
Cersei.
Trent and Blunt.
Yeah. So those are the other 2 more Kingsguard. So those guys have Lancel and Cersei have Kingsguard, and Sansa and Joffrey have Kingsguard.
So why does Sir Lancel need protected? Shouldn't he be a fucking knight?
Yeah, like exactly. Yeah, I guess Cersei just got him. Cersei's pretty obvious about who she's with. She's not very. Yeah, and then we got the High Septon behind them in a litter. No, Tyrion's behind that, right? Yeah.
No, Tyrion's behind.
Tyrion fell in with his sister.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
it sounds like he's either next to her or right behind her.
And then it's the High Septon in his litter.
Yeah.
And then a long tail of courtiers.
In bronze with Tyrion, right?
Probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And then so then the High Septon behind Tyrion, and then everybody else: Horace Redwine, Lady Tanda, Lolly Stockworth, Jell Barzo, Lord Giles Rosby, and the rest, whoever that is.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And
Tyrion's pretty aware of the crowd. I mean, since the dirty eyes, but he knows that he's in enemy territory. He knows that they're not happy. He's
tensions are high, but the other thing is he thinks that Cersei doesn't realize it, or he's like,
or doesn't care, or is just ignorant.
I think he actually thinks that she does realize it, but is like really good at playing.
Yeah, he says something about that.
She knows what face to put on all the time.
Yeah, it was like she likes to show a strong face in adversity.
But his sister always believed in putting on the brave show. There you go. She could not be oblivious to the unrest around him. But his sister always believed in putting on the brave show.
Yeah.
So then, the crowd's kind of like, it seems mixed. There's people saying go Lannister, you know? Like
They're saying it's few and far between though. There's like
yeah, I'm not saying it's everybody. That's why I'm saying it's mixed, you know? Like it things weren't bad yet.
It's the people Tyrion paid to be in the crowd.
Yeah.
Until
a lady walks out with a
until
dead
that lady,
baby.
yeah, this lady pops out of the crowd with a fucking dead baby. She's bald.
Look at what you did.
Yeah, right up to Joffrey, you know?
And then Cersei just motherfucks her, basically.
No, fucking Joffrey throws money at her, hits the baby, and it just
Not
like
even a
bounces.
lot of money. One
just
money.
one
You
silver
just
stag.
nailed the baby.
And because
The baby can't catch it.
so I think it was like Joffrey was like about to ride her down. Sansa whispers something to him, and then he throws some money at her instead, right?
Yeah, all right, but this is also what happens. Leave her, your grace, Cersei called out to the
Well,
king.
that's
She's beyond our help, poor thing. And this is when she flips the switch.
yeah, that's after that.
So she didn't really care about the silver stag that hit her in the fucking
And they
forehead.
even say like that thing rolls into the crowd and people start fighting over it. But yeah, she doesn't give a fuck. Yeah.
But she hears that and she's like, "You fucking whore."
Whore, Kingslayer, Kingslayer's whore, brother fucker. Her dead child dropped from her arms like a sack of flour as she pointed at Cersei. Brother fucker, brother fucker, brother fucker.
She forgot about the baby pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
I mean, it's dead at this point.
Joffrey gets smacked with some shit.
Yeah, right in the face. Nobody saw where it came from, but yeah, right in the face. Joffrey starts demanding, where the fuck did that
Splatters
come
on
from?
Sansa.
100 gold.
Where? Who's doing?
100 gold
Who's doing
dragons,
it?
which is like I think like actually like 1,000, 10,000 times more than what he just threw at this woman. Like it's so much
Oh,
money.
I'm sure.
Especially
One
when the
silver
city is
stag to
fucking
100
horrid.
dragons.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do the conversion because it doesn't matter, but it's a lot more.
I mean, somebody immediately like ratted him out, like, "It was up there. It was him. Give me my money," which he never would have got paid. And the Hound is off. We didn't say this. The Hound was ordered to go get the guy.
Yeah, so once Joffrey knows, like, once he has like the direction, he thinks he knows where the poop came from. He's like, Hound, get him. That's it. Over with. Like,
Hound,
Get the poop slinger.
use your fucking Assassin's Creed skills and climb up to the roof, bro.
he just like doesn't understand. Like Joffrey just like doesn't understand. Like, what is the Hound gonna do? How is he gonna get through this crowd of people up to this roof? Like, what is Joffrey thinking here?
The Hound's about to do it.
I mean,
He gets down. He's ready to go.
I mean, the Hound is a loyal dog.
he is. I mean, he said, "Kill the butcher's boy. Kill the butcher's boy." All right, that was fucked up. But we know from everything else we've seen of the Hound, at least from Sansa's eyes, he's not horrible. At least to Sansa, right? He might be like pretty fucked up to everybody else, but that doesn't make sense. Like, why nice to Sansa? So
Mhm.
seems like he's not super fucked up. But yeah, like he does what Joffrey tells him to do, like for sure.
Yeah. But so now the fucking crowd is pushing on the gold cloaks, and I think they actually grab one of the bannermen. Is that what happens first?
Well, someone tries grabbing Joffrey's leg. I forget when that is, but
Well, so
Meryn
that's
chops off his
so
arm.
Tyrion's like, yo, leave him. The Hound. He tells the Hound to leave him alone. Like, this is not worth it. We need to leave. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Joffrey says no.
He's gonna lick
Cut
it
through
off
the
me.
crowd and bring him to me. I want him. So
He's
like
gonna
he
lick
pretty
it.
much says, just kill everybody
Yeah.
out loud in front of all these people.
and that's
Yeah.
when everyone loses their shit.
Exactly.
So this
That
is
was when everybody,
people start
you know,
screaming
that was it.
Yeah.
Did we mention that they started chanting King Bread? Not King
No,
Bread.
they
They're
didn't.
not there yet.
It all
Brad
goes off right
became
now.
the
It's this
king
next
because
chapter.
everyone just started.
Oh yeah,
standing
that's up
bread.
next.
So they start
They
calling
start
him
yelling
bastard.
bastard, whore, brother
So hold
fucker,
on.
freak, half man,
I guess at this point,
King Rob, the young wolf.
At this point, it's not actually a mob yet, right? It's still like pretty calm then. If
No,
they're
that's what I'm saying.
chanting-
He tells everybody. He says, "Hound, cut through the crowd."
Yeah, and it's still pretty calm.
No,
it's not.
this
like
is
they're-
when everybody starts freaking out.
Yeah,
I know,
everyone's
but
just-
like before that, when he says that, they're
Yeah.
not all like trying to probably pushing and shoving at that
Yeah,
point.
it's-
Right? We've
it's
had
not
this one
great.
lady come through. Somebody's throwing something. There's probably some
Yeah,
more
it's
throws.
not great, but it's still
Under
yes.
control. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And then he's like, just kill everybody, and that's what pops the top. Is what you're saying, Kyle?
Yes, yeah. I mean, I don't think he was like saying kill everybody, but he was pretty much saying like, I don't give a shit about these people.
kill
Yeah.
him, cut him.
Yeah, cut him if
Gotcha.
you have to.
Yeah, bastard, someone screamed at Joffrey. Bastard monster. Other voices flung calls of whore and brother fucker at the queen, while Tyrion was pelted with shouts of freak and half man. Mixed in with the abuse, he heard a few cries of justice and Rob, King Rob, the young wolf, Stannis, and even Renly. But
Renly's
these
dead.
guys.
Uh,
Yeah, but these guys don't know. They're fucking trying to
They
get
don't
fucking
know.
food.
So now is when they're like, feed us, we want bread.
Yeah.
And then the chant turned into bread. So that just shows you that where these people are at. Like, they just need fucking food, man.
They're hungry, man.
We've known this, right? This has just been like, it's kind of like a lot of
here
foreshadowing up to this point.
middle.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Tyrion orders everyone back, and they start hightailing it through.
Whipping.
Gold cloaks are falling to the ground. The hound's left behind off his horse. Santigar is seen just like pulled off his death steer.
Yeah, Bywater's got like the people in the front. He's got on lower lances, charge. Let's go. We're getting through here. I don't think they're actually charging through people, right? Because apparently, like the gold cloak should have it still like lined up. And up ahead, you would assume the mob isn't really too aware of what's going on and closing in.
I don't know if they have it completely blocked off, but I think that's why they're lowering lances. I don't think anybody's stepping in front of this on purpose.
No one's about to get trampled for sure.
Well, they might get trampled, but I don't think
they're not getting lanced and trampled.
They're not going to be like, fuck this, I'm getting in front.
They're not going to throw themselves in front of this thing.
I'm going to trip this horse with my body.
Yeah, so like Jeff said, Santigar pulled from his saddle, Balin Swan drops his banner. He's not as stupid. He pulls his sword out, right?
Yeah. He Luke Skywalker's an arm off of somebody.
Does he?
Yeah.
That was hold on. Yeah, so that's something. Okay. So, yeah, Balin Swan drops the lion banner, draws a sword, and starts slashing either side.
I mean, these are just details.
But the thing is, though, if you're losing an arm,
you're dead.
So that's a frag, right? These peasants are dead.
Hand from wrist.
That's what I'm saying. Hand from wrist is different, but I think the hound cuts off
it really quick.
Yeah, the hound cuts off somebody's arm, but that's way later. Why are you so far ahead?
I'm just because Balin Swan is slashing to either side here. I wanted to make sure they didn't say he cut anybody.
No,
okay?
Sir Mandan. It's Sir Mandan. All right, Lawless knocked off her horse.
Hold on, Joffrey rides someone down. Are they dead? Does that count as a frag? If you run over someone with a horse?
Not confirmed.
Does ride down? I feel like ride down. Like they say, the hound rode down the butcher's boy. Right, that can also just mean like
slash him. Didn't they say he had to slash like in half?
What I'm saying is,
body?
I feel like you can say, "Oh, he rode him down," just to mean like he ran him down and killed. Like I feel like rode down could mean like rode down and killed all in one. I don't think I'm not sure if that's what it's saying here. Does Joffrey get a frag?
I'm for giving it to him.
Fuck him, Joffrey a frag.
I mean, there's a good chance that the person that got trampled by the horse ends up getting trampled by the mob. So
it's a mob kill.
I think Joff gets one for the horse.
Give Joff the kill.
That's a horse kill.
So anyway, somebody tried to grab Joffrey. Mandan slashed his hand off, right? That's not a kill.
Yep.
I say that's not a kill.
Yeah.
You can go stub that on a stove.
No, they run that to the fire. They cauterize that really quick.
Then this is when shit gets real here. Rocks start coming at him.
Yep.
Dirty eggs.
Rotten cabbage. Yeah, an egg.
Stupid. Just should have eaten the cabbage.
3 gold cloaks went down.
Fuckers.
And that was it. The crowd made it through. 3 gold cloaks.
3 gold cloaks. Down and out.
That's when the hound disappears. And they see his horse running with him. So he's stuck.
Yeah, and an empty horse is running with him. Yep.
Santigar got pulled down.
See a hound. I mean, Tyrion even thinks like he's dead. Like he mentions like, it's your fault the hound's dead.
Yeah, he says that later on.
Spoiler, he walks in the gate 10 minutes later.
Well, that's because the hound's a beast.
All right, so they get through the gates. There's like a line of gold cloaks. They get through. We learn Lawless has been knocked off her horse. All right, and Lady Tanda can't find her. The Septon's litter was turned over. Not sure yet what happened to him. We will soon. All right, Joffrey's yelling that he wants to kill all of the treasoners. Tyrion's like, fuck that. You idiot. Slaps him. Little kick to the ribs.
He fucks him up.
He kind of does fuck him up.
He enjoys it. And he just like verbally gets him too. Like, you little stupid shit.
He fucking slapped the crown off his head.
Yep. Yeah. Slapped him, pushed him to the ground, and then kicked him.
I mean, Joffrey just sounds like a little bitch.
He's fucking screaming at him too.
They called me names and attacked me.
Yeah, you tried to kill him. Like, yeah.
The worst thing is you got pooped on your face.
He's not even upset about that anymore. Yeah.
And Tyrion's just like, dude, it was all your fault. All right, so once everything starts to calm down, they're trying to figure out who's there and who's not there. And we realize, dun dun dun.
Bum, 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 bum. Sansa's not here. Dun 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 dun.
We're fucked.
Joffrey's as good as dead if Sansa's not.
No, not Joffrey. Uncle Daddy Jamie.
Oh, is that what he said? Jamie's as good as dead?
Yeah, Jamie's as good as dead.
Oh, I misread that then.
Yeah, they've been tied together for a while.
That makes more sense though.
Yeah, so when they realize Sansa's gone, basically Tyrion's like, Mandan, what the fuck? Because Mandan was assigned to watch after her.
My thoughts went straight to the king.
And Cersei's like, fuck yeah, it should have.
Yeah, you're right. Good code.
Which I don't like. He just literally said out loud, if she's come to harm, Jamie's as good as dead. Oh, no, he didn't say that out loud. I'm sorry. There's a lot of quotes there. But, like, does she not realize that? Like, she has to know that.
Yeah, but Mandan also says that it's because that. So again, like I was saying when we were going through that, the Hound and Sansa were flanked on either side. Hound was on Joffrey's side. Mandan was on Sansa's side. Whenever she kicks off, Hound goes away. So when he says,
Amanda's like, "Fuck, I gotta get the king."
There's no.
I
he
don't
lost
disagree
his
with
guy, right? And again, if you're Kingsguard, guard the king first. Everybody else second. You do what you're told to. It's weird. Where does the orders go? I don't know, but. Again, not blaming 100% on Sir Mandan here. Kind of makes sense what he's saying, right?
Yeah.
And again, kind of makes sense for Cersei to defend him because again, I think Cersei cares about Joffrey more than Jaime.
At the end of the day, if you lose Jaime, it's not the end of the world.
Joffrey, I think Cersei's more upset.
She's already got him kind of replaced, right?
Yeah, she's already been picked out by her cousin.
A cheap copy.
So.
Yeah. Who knows if she's even thinking about him anymore?
So they pretty much say like you need to go get Sansa and find her now. Everybody's like, no, fuck that. Go. You saw what happened out there. Like,
oh, White Cloaks, they'll still attack us.
Should we, Your Grace, should we take our cloaks off? You're like, you fucking pussies. The others with their cloaks.
Yeah. The others take your fucking cloaks. Take them off if you're afraid to wear them, you bloody oaf. But find me Sansa Stark, or I swear I'll have Shagga split that ugly head of yours in two to see if there's anything inside but black pudding.
You call me ugly, sir?
Stop it! Boros, your doors, your bed. I will find someone else who...
I wasn't going to do that part, but yeah, Cersei backs him up here. So this is weird, right? Like Cersei's kind of on Tyrion's side.
I think she.
No, I think she fuck out there now.
Yeah, I think she realized. Like, yeah,
like
wait,
Boros, what the fuck are you talking? Like that Boros.
No, I think she's realizing like, oh shit, we need Sansa.
Oh, also that Boros sucks. Like, what do you mean? Like, get the fuck out there. You're a fucking Kingsguard.
Right. She's about to start saying, like, your oath. Like, you fucking pussy knight. Like, one, she probably doesn't care about him. Like, it's just a knight. Like, she can find somebody else to do this job. But, like, we fucking hired you to do this. Like, do as we fucking say. Go.
Well, Boros has, like, been around, right? This is, like I'm surprised. How does...
I think he's kind of like, fuck this. Look what's happening out there. I'm not going back out there for nothing.
I'm supposed to be a Kingsguard, not a King's Searcher.
Was he a King Rob Kingsguard?
Yeah, like all these guys are King Robert, right? Except for the Hound, right? All Joffrey really did was get rid of Barristan, elevate Jaime to like head of Kingsguard, which is where Barristan was, and then put Hound in Jaime's old spot. So like, the only new one is the Hound, and he's like the best one. So like, how is Robert cool with just having all these slapdicks in his Kingsguard? I mean, again, Preston, Mandon Moore, Ares Oakheart seem pretty cool. So does Jaime.
They're probably good drinking buddies, dude.
But these two are slapdicks. Yeah, maybe they're just chill. I don't know.
And as Cersei starts giving shit to Boros,
dun 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 dun,
the Hound riding in with Sansa, hanging onto his chest.
She's feeling them titties up.
And then we get a little bit of a recap on what actually happened down there from the Hound.
So first Tyrion sees a big cut on Sansa's head.
Oh, yeah. Gets a little bird to a cage.
I think that's after they get the recap. But yeah, the Maester Franklin comes looking at her. They're throwing things. She's like, I have no food. Like, she's trying to like reason with him, I guess. And a man tried to pull her down. Hand cut his arm off. Probably killed him. I agree. Hound gets one. So Joff and Hound are the two that get one?
Sure.
I mean, are you taking the cut off arm as a kill?
The Hound? Dude, what do they do about this to save this guy?
Just run to a brazier real quick.
I'm taking it's like here. It's like above the elbow.
Seal it up.
Above elbow artery.
Can you just... I don't think you just stick that thing on a stove. It's not as easy as I don't know. Maybe you can.
I would.
If you just burn an open wound, would that cauterize?
Oh, it would hurt so much.
It would hurt so much, but yeah, it would cauterize.
But would it save you?
Could.
You'd pass out from the pain?
It's not guaranteed. I don't think it's a guaranteed save.
If anyone knows if cauterizing a wound, how much blood that'll stop, let us know. I think I would say upper arm.
I'm gonna give the Hound a kill for this one, and then if we get uproar in the Discord, I'll
We're not
change
gonna.
it.
I don't care. Give him the kill.
I
I
don't
think
think
that's
I don't think
fine.
the Discord will care either.
All right, so
Yeah, they will.
the Hound says that Sandagard, nope, he gone.
Yeah,
He did.
He got his head crushed
And he's
in.
just like, nope.
Oh.
Yeah, by a cobblestone.
Hound 2.
No, that was.
He does
Oh yeah,
kill
he did
one of
take
them.
one of them. He does take
Not
one
that
of
it
them.
get Sanagar any good, but he got it one of them.
And then Lawless at this point not been seen. And then
Yeah.
oh
Yeah,
shit,
nobody gives a shit about poor Lady Tanda's daughter.
Lady
The whole
Tanda's
time,
daughter.
nobody even
Like-
pays any attention to her. She's
Nobody
asking the whole
gives a
time.
Kingsguard, go out for Lady Tanda's daughter.
He said, I never saw her. Where the fuck's my horse? Where is my horse? I need that horse right now.
that's a good horse.
Yep. And then someone shouts down, "Flea Bottom's on fire!"
Flea Bottom's on fire.
Which I was trying to pull up the map earlier for King's Landing. I'll put it in the Discord, but I'll put it in the YouTube channel too, like while we're talking about the riot. But I couldn't, for some reason, I couldn't show you guys. But like Flea Bottom is not where they rode through. Like they did not ride through Flea Bottom here. Like I don't know why Flea Bottom is now on
Because it's a
fire.
fucking riot, man.
But the riot wasn't in Flea Bottom. This is a huge city, and like it's
Yeah,
I mean,
but
it's
like,
kind
so
of
you
close,
think-
but
I'm sure this got back there and it just popped off. That's the
this
fucking
is quick. I feel like this is quick, man.
All right, let's just put it as this: like, this is the first time in a while the royal family's probably walked down the street, so it's probably like a big
Yeah.
parade. Like people came out to see this shit, so I'm sure it was packed for a couple blocks, and then word spread that rioting happened. They're like, "Fuck this place!
Yeah.
It's burning to the
Yeah.
ground."
I think it's just interesting that they didn't go through Flea Bottom, and now there's a fire in Flea Bottom, and like Sandor literally just came back with Sansa. Like I'm sure he wasn't taking his time through that mob, and now like less than a minute later,
Yeah.
we got a fire in Flea Bottom. Like
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
I mean, what else happened? Like it spread fast.
But the big worry about the fire is fuck Flea Bottom. We've got fucking alchemists making wildfire out the wazoo.
There's so much of it.
Yeah,
Burn
Tyrion
the
thinks
whole
that
city
real
down.
quick. Which again, shouldn't Cersei be thinking about this too? Like that was one of her things.
Yeah, I don't think she cares that much about that. I don't think she knows what's going on with that. Like, I don't think she understands just how much there is.
I agree. Or her mind's just elsewhere.
They're pretty much like, okay, we're gonna go out and look for your horse. You go make sure that the alchemist guild does not catch on fire.
Yeah.
Hound.
Stop that fire. You three Kingsguard, you guys ride and command people to leave the streets, or you're gonna die by nightfall. And Marin's like, nah, gotta stay by the king.
It's my job.
Well, you
And
skipped the
Cer-
part here
Cersei
where
2.0.
the hound looks
Oh.
afraid. The first time the hound ever showed
Yeah.
any kind of like fear or tentativeness or anything.
Because the two people who were
Yeah.
supposed to go stop the fire, Bronn and the Hound, right?
Yeah.
Right, they're the fire stoppers.
The Hound's like, fine, I'll do it, but after I get the horse. But like, yeah, he's like, he's not happy about getting the fire. It might take him a while to find his horse. That's what I'm thinking.
He's ate too much of the fire, Tyrion thinks.
Yep.
Or something like that.
And yeah, then we get back to fucking these two being bitches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our place is beside the king.
get the fuck out there.
Cersei's, yeah.
What's Cersei
Yeah,
saying?
Cersei said, your place is where my brother says it is. He speaks with the king's own voice. Disobedience is treason.
Yeah.
Get
Should we
fucked.
wear our cloaks?
I don't care if you go out naked,
Go
bro.
naked. Might remind him that they're your men after what you did this fucking morning, just being bitches during the riot.
She reared up like a viper. Good line.
While Cersei's popping off, Tyrion just like his head's throbbing. He's like having enough. Like he's done with all this shit. He's so like headache. He's pissed off. He just lets Cersei go, and I guess he walks off. Next thing we hear, he's back at the Tower of Hand, right?
No, there's one more Tyrion thing. One more Tyrion order.
What do you do?
Somebody go get Timett. Simcoe's like, fuck Timett. They're like, all right, go get Shaga. And
Shaga sleeps.
Shaga's sleeping.
Yeah.
Like, fuck Shaga. Wake his ass up. Go protect Shay. I'll be there at ASAP.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's outside the Tower of the Hand on his way back. Yeah, so he basically just dips from when Cersei's going
And
off.
they're
He
like,
just
fuck
dips.
that. I don't want to wake him up, man. That guy's an asshole when you wake him up.
Yeah, and we find out why later on. It's because he's fucking wasted, right? He
Yeah.
drinks too much of
He's
their
hungover.
grape juice. What's he say?
Weak
it
ale
is.
and sour wine.
Sour wine. Yeah.
Muddy water. Can't drink the muddy water here.
Yeah. So he's just drinking alcohol all the time and just gets fucked up. But yeah, what's Shagga there? Why's the command for Shagga? So now we're back in Tyrion and Tower of the Hand. This is just Tyrion and these guys.
This is what we were talking about before. Is like he just fucking spills the beans.
Yeah, like
immediately.
And like Shagga's not going through Aliyaya like up to the Shataya's brothel in the room down the thing. Like he's just going there, like, right?
And exactly, he said himself here. He's like, I don't know if I should trust Shagga with her, right? And he said that too.
I don't know if he actually even thinks that.
Yeah,
I might have missed it.
Oh no, that's what this guy says it. Shagga will fetch her here.
Yeah, like, Shagga says like, I'll bring her here, and he's like, no, don't. Like, just keep her safe. Like I don't want you to bring her here. Just stay there, keep her safe.
He's like smiling at him. It seems like he. I don't know. I don't know why you would trust these dudes. Your wife, or your girlfriend, or whatever.
I mean, and Shagga,
the secret girlfriend.
And Shagga is a badass, but like, doesn't Tyrion have guards with Shay already? Like, didn't he say like he had a bunch of ugly guards? Like he purposely had. Like, what is one more? Again, I don't know how many he had of them.
And gay guards.
Oh yeah, you're
right.
Like,
Yeah, but like, what is one more? What I'm saying is like, there's a riot, right? Like, what's I mean, Shagga's a badass, but like, what's Shagga gonna do if you've already got like 25 guys? Like, what's one more guy?
Shagga counts.
And like Kyle's saying, like you're kind of giving up a lot of info here, like to a guy who probably might not want to be giving up a lot of info to. And it seems like he doesn't even really understand what you're telling him. Like, is he going to be trying to bring Shagga through the city, like through a fire and through a mob? Like,
we found her for you.
Like Tyrion, we're sure she's here.
Here you go, Tyrion.
Oh yeah, while Tyrion's in a meeting with Cersei, just Shagga knocks on the door and brings Shay in.
By the way, Shay's back.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, Kyle.
All right, so we're back in his solar now, Bywater, and he's keeping it dark. He's pissed off. He's got a headache.
Weird, right? Like, doesn't turn on like candles. Like, he's literally talking this whole conversation to Bywater in the dark.
He's got a migraine, dude. Lights hurt when you have a migraine.
It doesn't. Yeah. Or you're just too mentally soft to turn the light on. Turn the light on.
I mean, he's got Pod to do that. He doesn't even got to do anything. He's just like, literally, Alexa, go turn the fucking light on. Pod lights all the candles. You know what I mean?
So Bywater, everything is Alexa controlled.
Yeah, just name Pod.
All right, so more news. Fat Septon torn apart.
Dead. Crown gone.
Sir Preston dead. Sir Aaron dead. We already knew him.
Preston's so dead they didn't even realize it was a Kingsguard.
They could really only tell it's him because of his white armor once they got all the blood off it, but it was too covered in blood to even see the white at the beginning.
Lawless.
Raped by 50 men. Wandering around naked.
Tyrek Lannister.
Naked.
How old is Lollies?
Missing.
No one knows.
No one knows.
I'm guessing 33. How did we have it? I was really guessing we weren't going to have an age for her. 33.
She's 33.
Oh, she's old. She's an old ass daughter.
Damn, dude.
You sure that's not
She should be a mother. She's like grandmother.
She's about to be a mother after the 50 dudes.
I mean, Tana could have had her at 20 or less. Like, Tana's probably like 50-ish.
She's at the life expectancy of this place right now. 33?
Yeah. I mean, but they're highborn. I bet your life expectancy for highborn's a bit higher.
She didn't get married off or anything by now?
She hasn't been. Crazy. Yeah. What the fuck?
Can't find anyone for Lollies.
She is missing.
She's like dumb-witted, right? She's dim-witted.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, right. And then 9 gold cloaks dead. Hundreds injured.
Yep. Tyrek Lannister missing, and the High Septon's crown. 9 gold cloaks dead, 40 wounded. No one counted the mob. Tyrion tells Bywater he wants Tyrek found because he liked Tyrek's dad, who was his uncle. Tyrek, we've heard of before. They call him Wet Nurse. They married him because they married him to like literally like an infant, like a 1 or 2 year old.
Right.
Just because there's the only one like to get land or something.
Mm-hmm.
Bywater's like, oh, we're gonna get them both, and he's like, I don't give a fuck about the Septon's crown. Just give me, I guess, his cousin, his dad's brother's
his
son,
uncle.
cousin?
He says he was son to my late uncle Target.
So that makes him a cousin.
Yeah.
Bywater's like, look, we got it out of this jam, but shit's boiling over.
Bywater says, when you appointed me, you told me you wanted the truth all the time. And Tyrion's like, I don't think I'm gonna like what you're gonna say next. And Bywater gives him a little report.
No one likes the Lannisters at all. No one.
We held the city today, my lord, but I make no promises for the morrow. The kettle is close to boiling. So many thieves and murderers are abroad that no man's house is safe. The bloody flux is spreading in the stews along Pisswater Bend. There's no food to be had for copper nor silver. Where before you heard only mutterings from the gutter, now there's open talk of treason in guild halls and markets.
And then we just get into the talk of like, well, look, people actually don't like you either, motherfucker.
Well, he says.
And-
He says the problem. He says the problem isn't men.
The bigger part, yeah.
He says
the
the
bigger
men,
part is that
the men in
Yeah.
the city watch are the
Come
common
from
folk.
the flea bob.
Yeah, they like.
Who do you
they-
think I'm
are
getting?
common people.
Yeah, like Jaslyn just like he tripled the size, but he basically just said like, yeah, come here and get some food. So everyone just came there. So like all the
And they
people
don't care for you. They don't care any much for you either.
Yeah, he's like,
Half trained, undisciplined. What loyalty they have is to their own skin. Comes to battle, not going to hold. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Tyrion's like, yeah, if they breach the gates, I already knew that.
yeah, Tyrion knew it would never last past that point. So he was like, we just need it to hold. We need them to hold long enough until they breach the gates. Is I guess what Tyrion's thinking.
He's like everywhere. Everywhere you go, you hear "fuck the Lannisters" pretty much.
Yeah, and in Bywater, you can tell like Bywater doesn't want to be the one to tell Tyrion like everyone hates him. He's like, Lord Varys must have told you how much no one likes the Lannisters, and then he starts by saying everything with every other problem except for Tyrion. He's like, oh,
And
they don't like
Tyrion's
when your
like,
dad sacked the city. They think they're being punished for the sins of the Lannisters. Jaime killing the rightful king, murdering the Targaryen children, the execution of Ned Stark. But like for that one, like we had an Arya chapter. Like literally boots on the ground in the mob. Everyone was all about that. Like,
Everyone was
was
cheering.
like,
Yeah,
"Let's
yeah,
get his
it won't
fucking
go bad
head
then.
off."
Yeah, well, that was when
Hindsight.
shit was good though.
Yeah.
Now shit is fucked, and they're like, you gotta blame
Yeah,
something.
exactly. I just wanted
When
to point
shit
it
goes
out.
wrong, you gotta blame something.
Just wanted to point it out.
All right. Yeah, actually, you're the worst because you give evil counsel, and then there's rumors of like kind of everything that we've seen Tyrion do here,
They're
like
turning
sending
it.
off Janos, sending off or like kind of demoting Maester Pycelle, kind of gets turned like.
Well,
Logan
and they're
said.
like, man, things were good before you showed up. Like times were fine. You're the difference. You showed up. Everything hit the fucking fan.
Exactly. Like everything that like you think is bad. Like Cersei was here beforehand. Like Jaime was here beforehand. You're the only Lannister that wasn't here beforehand. So like it's all on you. And they're like, yeah, when they think it was good when Robert was there, and they think it might be good when Stannis is there. Like, and again, like
Can't
now
be
these
this
talks,
bad, at least.
these talks are not only happening in the streets now they're literally happening in the barracks, right? Like in the guild halls, like places you don't want like places you don't want traitors.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, you got rid of Janos because he was too honorable for you, and you locked up sweet and gentle Pycelle. Like who knows if Bywater is like giving some actual information here, like if this is actual average view of the average man. But if it is, like we know that Tyrion's been doing some good plays with all this shit, right? So like, are they just really this misguided, or is Bywater giving some bad info?
Good plays for Tyrion's benefit.
And it's also stuff that like you'd have to see the behind the scenes to understand how it's a good play. So like
Exactly. You just see him send this person away and everything gets worse. And you're like, fuck him. It's all because of him. It's kind of like Jeff said, you need something to blame.
and I'm small is pretty much what Tyrion
and I'm
says.
a little monster.
Like, don't forget
Small, ugly, and disformed.
that. Dad was right to hate me because no matter what I do, this is still who I am.
Tyrion is kind of thinking like, I fucked up. Like, is this really the best I can do? Like, maybe he's right.
Yeah.
It's kind of how I took that. Right.
I mean, he definitely has a little bit of like, is everything I did.
He gives Bywater a sarcastic comment, but I think like his internal thought is like, damn, I actually fucked up. Like, how am I fucking up this bad? Again, I think Tyrion's in a bad situation. Like, everything is bad, and I think he's been doing good. But yeah, it's bad. Today was not good.
Yeah. All right. Bywater bounces Bronn, and he calls Bronn and Varys his two councils, and he's like, how the fuck are these two my councils? The sellsword and the fucking whisperer.
Eunuch. Yeah.
Bronn forced to
And my
fire.
lady's a whore. My most trusted advisors are a eunuch and a sellsword, and my lady's a whore. What does that say of me? Yeah, good quote by Tyrion. I don't know. Rough chapter for Tyrion. So
Poor
Bronn
Tyrion.
gets there. Immediately he's like, why are the lights off? What the fuck? Bronn, get a fire going. And Varys is running late, so by the time Varys gets there, the fire's roaring.
Yeah.
Bronn helps
and they-
himself.
I mean, they don't even really talk about anything.
This is a
Bronn's
useless
just like,
conversation.
yeah. All right. Let me eat your food. Tyrion's like, don't eat my food. Bronn's like, well, fuck, you don't do anything anyway. Just kill Joffrey.
Exactly.
And he's like, wait, I should kill Joffrey? And he's like, It's treason.
I could have your head off for that. And Bronn just laughs. And Varys
Bron's like, yeah, but
"Friends."
Tommen really would be a better king, right? That's pretty much what he says. He'd do whatever you want.
Wouldn't it be so much easier if the younger one was born first? And Tyrion's like, understands real quick. And then, he's like, I could have your head off. And Bron's like, just laughs. And Varys like,
laughs in his face.
friends, quarreling will serve no one. I beg you both, take heart. And Tyrion's like, whose? I can think of several tempting choices. I thought it was a bad end of chapter, for being honest.
Yeah, no, I thought it was like 2 pages of nothing. Like literally nothing happened.
I don't know. The Bronn Varys conversation was pointless.
This is the first we've seen
pointless.
him and Bronn at odds, so I think this is all good. I mean, I liked it all because it was like very high stress situation. I felt there.
I just mean in terms of like logically, why did Tyrion call them there? Like he does. At least we didn't see him give any commands.
They don't end up discussing anything of importance in the chapter.
He was
in
going
the chapter.
yeah, I mean,
they probably have some off-screen discussion of whose heart they're actually going to take.
They don't got to tell you everything.
I want to know it all. I want to know it all. But okay, Kyle, let's get one prediction I wanted to ask you earlier that I forgot to ask when we had the map up. How long till when's Myrcella gonna get to Dorne? Or when are we gonna get news of that?
So I mean that voyage looked massive, right? So I it should be like 4 months. I'm gonna go with that.
4 months, okay.
If she makes it.
If she makes it.
Do we need any other predictions? Oh, the one thing I wanted to say is so we sent off Ares Oakheart. Preston Greenfield dead. We got Mandon Moore, Boris Blunt, Meryn Trant, 3 Kingsguard. Jaime's captured. The Hound, another Kingsguard. Jaime's captured.
So we've got 2 open spots.
Well, Jaime's captured.
All right, I guess
just 1 open spot, but we only have 4 in the capital right now.
4 active.
How's there only 1 open spot?
Because Ares is gone and Jaime's captured. Only 1 died.
Okay.
Preston Greenfield died today, but 2 of them are just not here.
Can you go through them again? I think we only named 6.
So Jaime's captured. Yep. Preston Greenfield just died.
Yep.
Mandon Moore was guarding Sansa. Sandor Clegane was guarding Joffrey. Yeah.
Sandor.
Oakheart.
Meryn Trant, Boris Blunt, and then Oakheart.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
Good work, boys.
All right.
Do you want to make any predictions, Kyle? Just in general predictions about?
No, I mean, I said I think I'm still on track with the chain. I mean, I think this one's kind of clear. What's happening here is like the city is in massive turmoil, and that's really all. Any prediction I give is just going to be like, that the people are pissed, and things aren't great for the Lannisters. It's really what they're all going to boil down to.
All right. Well, we don't got to linger. It's a long one. We'll see you in the next one, Kyle, and we'll see everybody else in the spoiler section.
See you later, Kel.
Bye, Kyle.
Later, nerds.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
See you later, Cal. It was great hanging out, bud. We'll see you on the next show for Davos 2. But now, on to the spoiler section for Tyrion 9. What are your hot takes for this?
Isn't it crazy that it's only Davos 2? We were complaining that it was Dany 3.
Is he in jail?
No, he shows up to Storm's
this
End.
is Shadow Baby. This is Shadow Baby.
Yeah, this is the meeting with Sir Courtney Penrose and Shadow Baby 2. But the timeline wise, he shows up to Storm's End 8 days before the next Davos chapter, and Stannis has said that he is giving Courtney Penrose a fortnight to consider his offer. So Stannis has been waiting on Courtney Penrose for 14 days, say like 15 from Renly died, which means Davos got there a week after Renly died. And the last thing we heard about Davos was Stannis sent him all over the place spreading news of incest. Mm-hmm. So is Stannis is Davos just coming back? I'm assuming I'm getting too far into it. We have too much to talk about this one already, but I'm assuming Davos is just meeting back up with them from spreading incest news all over the place.
I would think that's right.
That makes sense. And he meets up with them a week after Renly's death, and then the next Davos chapter happens. But yeah, get into this one. What did you guys have? I got a lot of deep stuff.
I just want to talk about Tommen for a second because they kind of mentioned in the beginning, they kind of preface it, and then at the end, it's like Tommen would be the better king.
Yeah.
So we're getting talks of killing Joffrey for King Tommen,
which is I think why there's a lot of theories that Tywin had something to do with the Red Wedding, because
Purple Wedding. You mean.
Purple Wedding, yeah, Purple Wedding.
I think Bronn did it.
Bronn did what? The purple wedding.
Killed Joffrey, yeah.
Bronn.
He says it. He's the one who brings it up.
Who suggests. Yeah, he's the one who suggested here, but like he really doesn't.
Nothing
really changes for him.
Together.
But nothing really changes for him, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like Bronn's dated his
Bronn has
Tyrion
one of the biggest come ups ever.
Bronn would?
Bronn's come up just in general is huge. Like,
well, Battle of the Blackwater.
Sir Bronn of the Blackwater.
Yeah, but then he's like getting married and a fucking king guy, or like a lord.
He does all right. He named his bastard Tyrion.
Yeah, he's doing fucking work. All right, so just want to throw that out. Tommen is already kind of being worked in.
One little one I had. Okay. When the mob starts shouting bad things about everybody, brotherfucker, bastard to Joffrey, brotherfucker to Cersei.
Brotherfucker.
They yell freak to Tyrion, and they yell half man. But I'm pretty sure, at least in the show, during the Battle of the Blackwater, that is like his like half man. Like they're all about half man. And here it's like fuck you, half man, and they're like that's my guy, the half man, bro. That's my guy. You know what I mean?
That's
like they're all about it.
Well, I think he's also fighting with them.
Yeah.
There.
I think the mountain clans call him half man.
Yeah.
They do too,
just
like
they
I thought that's what you were getting at, was that the mountain men were like in the crowd saying fuck Tyrion.
You're right that no, they definitely do, but
yeah. All right. Another little one. Tyrion thinks to himself, wants to think on how he can get Stannis' bannermen to attack Dorne. Does he put any like little ploys in?
I mean, nothing really happens with this, but like what I was saying to Kyle was true. Where like when you have like the Tyrells and the Dornish have been fighting for forever, so like it makes sense that they would like fight each other. You know what I mean?
Potentially fight each other.
Yeah, like if they saw them there and they're like, "Oh fuck you."
I just want to get all my little ones out of the way, so then you can we can just roll big talk.
Yeah.
I got one more small one after Jeff. Before you go.
Oakheart, we know he becomes a much bigger storyline later on.
Yeah, book 4. I think he has one POV chapter. I think he's the only character ever to only have one POV chapter.
And then he rides straight into the sword of a Dane, right?
He gets killed by
it's a hammer.
The giant axe of Area Hota.
Who's the Dane that's out there running around?
Darkstar. Gerald Dane.
Darkstar.
Best name in the book.
Gerald Dane is definitely going to be a plot point in Winds of Winter.
Because you've already read about him being in it, or?
I mean, he's just a plot point that's like going on. He's not in any of the sample chapters.
What's Darkstar doing in Dorne? Hiding?
He's hiding. He was helping.
So
he was on the let's make Myrcella queen side. Like he was all for that. And then shit hit the fan, and now he's kind of the one that's been taking the blame for who like sliced Myrcella's cheek open. Like he's getting blamed for that, and they're like, "Yo, let's go after," because no one really saw it. But like, I think most theories say that like it wasn't really him; it was somebody else.
Yeah, Martell's like, yeah, why not just put Darkstar under the bus?
All right, Glow, big sweet in this chapter. Cersei was much sweeter when she thought she was outwitting him.
That was in this chapter?
That was a quote.
That was a quote.
I didn't catch that one. I didn't even have this one on my list, but this is gonna be a good one for you boys. How about the Kettle Blacks?
What about them?
Like they become way bigger in the later books too. First mention of them.
Yeah, does she bang all 3?
I don't know if she actually bangs any, but she definitely promises at least 2 of them she'll bang them, I think. But the big thing is she thinks she has them. Is that what
gets her in trouble with the High Sparrow? The Kettleblacks? Fucking the Kettleblacks?
No, Lancel. Oh, the Kettleblacks might be involved.
Yeah, Lancel isn't as big of a part because he's a dairy. I think what it is there's a guy called like the Blue Bard, who basically Cersei and Qyburn torture until he lies and says that he slept with Marjorie to the High Septon, and then the High Septon tortures him until he tells the High Septon that he lied and something about Cersei.
Actually banging Osmond.
Something like that.
Isn't it?
You're right. Jeff, I think you're right. It might be. I think it is one of the Kettlebacks who rats on Cersei. I think you're 100% right. I think it is. Because the Blue Bard wouldn't know that. And it might not even be the Blue Bard who says that. I forget his name.
Is it Kettleback or Kettle Black?
Kettle Black.
So how about just the pot calling the Kettle Black?
Exactly. This is 100% a George pun name. I don't know exactly what it's for here, but I think what it is Tyrion isn't where these guys stop. Somebody else is paying them on top of Tyrion. Littlefinger is like the guy who owns these guys. So when Sansa Dantos carries Sansa away after the wedding, these guys' dad is the one that rows Dantos and Sansa to Littlefinger's boat. And then they kill Dantos and not the dad.
Yeah.
So Littlefinger, and I think Littlefinger basically says, like, yeah, I own the Kettle Blacks. So Cersei thinks she owns the Kettle Blacks. Tyrion thinks, like, Cersei's stupid. I own the Kettle Blacks. Littlefinger owns the Kettle Black. So I think it's kind of like, if I had to guess what the name meant, I think it'd be like a Tyrion is the pot calling the kettle black, calling Cersei stupid for thinking she owns them, when really Tyrion is calling Tyrion stupid for because he actually owns them. Is how I would take that pun.
Yeah,
but
it's like what's it called? Like ale belly.
Like Tyrion and Cersei are in the same spot. They're both being outwitted by somebody
being
wittier.
Better.
Yeah. Whether that's true, like whether that's what George meant by the Kettle Black name or not, I'm not sure. But that's the only thing I can think of for what that
makes
pun
sense.
means. But it is, I think it's just either way, it's cool that that even in this chapter, Tyrion thinks like, oh, I'm outwitting Cersei. But probably even at this point, Littlefinger probably owns them. We don't know if he does or not, but he probably does.
Yeah.
So the one note I have, it just stuck out to me because of the prophecy that's told to Cersei. Talks about the emerald necklace rope wrapped around her slim neck. So like her little brother or the little brother is supposed to choke her out or something like that. I don't know.
Like her neck is so slim that even a dwarf could wrap his hands around it.
Maybe that. I don't know. So it says like the emeralds, it says green. So I don't know if the like green hands are going to be wrapped around it. I don't know how someone's hands could turn green though.
Hands. So it's a
He's
paint dyer. It's green. It's green. Lami's brother, Green Hands.
I got some deep ones. We might want to start getting into them unless you guys got anything
All right,
else.
let's go.
All right, go.
Was somebody behind the riot? So this is like kind of the big.
It makes
thing
sense because of the fire too. So yeah, I could see it being a diversion to get Sansa out of there.
The fire is one thing that makes me think of it, and to get Sansa out of there is another big thing. So let's talk this one through. I'll tell you guys what the main theories are later, but let's talk this one through ourselves.
Littlefinger
For trying to get Sansa.
And we haven't heard from Littlefinger in 10 days.
Yes.
So we haven't heard from Littlefinger in 10 days. And I will say there's another theory that Varys is behind it. The only evidence behind Varys being behind it is that Tyrion Lannister goes missing.
Who the fuck is Tyrion Lannister? He's a horse. He's a horse.
He's Tyrion's cousin. Yeah. So
I'll
get into that theory
Tyrion?
a little bit. Yeah. That quote isn't from this chapter. That's from a chapter in Feast of Crows, but they're referencing this. So yeah, I'll get into that. That's just like a meme theory. But Tyrion is Tyrion's cousin. And the only reason he might become important is because, like, if everybody else, Cersei, Jaime, all the other Lannisters die, like, he could just be the heir to Castle Rock. So there's a theory that Varys set this all up because Varys basically knew everyone hated everybody. Like, everybody hated the royal family.
It would have been easy to spark.
And why is Varys not here? Like, the entire court's here. Lollys is here. Jalabar Zoe's here. Giles Rosby's here. Like, why the fuck is Varys
Lady
not
Tanda.
here?
Because he's a fucking spider.
Well, because he knows a mob is about to attack everyone. Again, this is not... I think that one of these theories is a guarantee and it's proven in the books. You guys might dispute that later on. But one of the theories is that Varys is involved. I think what Glow said earlier, the Littlefinger one, is a proven theory. That's 100%. It's not a debate anymore.
So yeah, Varys probably isn't there because his little birds told him that there was going to be a riot. And maybe that's why he stole Tyrek. He's like, all right, let me steal Tyrek because this riot is going to happen.
And Varys really doesn't give a fuck who dies. You know, in the Lannister family.
He wants that horse.
I don't know. I'm not sure like how it makes sense that Varys knew something was going to happen. I sent the link. It makes sense that Varys knew that something was going to happen, but
why are you saying
before you go off this tangent,
sure?
Nelson? Before you go off on this tangent,
yeah,
is the Hound's horse and Tyrion Lannister one and the same?
All right, before we go off on tangents, do you want me to get into the Tyrion Lannister theory?
No. Why are you saying that it's guaranteed that
we already talked about Tyrion Lannisters in the spoiler section last week?
We didn't. We talked about that at Jeff's house. We didn't talk about the spoiler section.
Why is it definitely Littlefinger in your mind? Why is it proven?
So in book 4 in Feast of Crows, when Sansa and Littlefinger are together, Littlefinger tells Sansa that when he was with Mace Tyrell, he had some of his men start mingling with the Tyrell men and start telling them that there was a riot in King's Landing and Preston Greenfield died and that there's an open spot in the Kingsguard. And then he paid a few harpers to play songs of like Kingsguard, like great deeds by Kingsguard men
to try
in
to
Mace
just
Tyrell's.
try and get Loras fired up.
Exactly, with Mace Tyrell trying to get Mace Tyrell to get Loras on the Kingsguard because Loras is the third. We hear that Loras is Mace Tyrell's favorite son, but he's also the third favorite. He's the third son.
Yeah.
Like one of his sons is a cripple, so it makes sense. But one of his sons is a badass. Like one of his sons is like maybe a better fighter than Loras, and like not a cripple. But Loras is still the favorite. So like it makes sense. Again, whoever it is, basically, and what Littlefinger tells Sansa is he says sometimes harpers are more powerful than swords or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, he basically says I was spreading news of the riot when I was with Mace Tyrell to try and influence Mace Tyrell. But we literally heard from Tyrion in this chapter that Littlefinger, they've had no contact with Littlefinger since he left the city. So how does Littlefinger know anything about what happened in this riot when he's meeting with Mace Tyrell? And the fact that when we go through...
I mean, how long is he with Mace Tyrell? It's a decent ride out there, right? Like, he's not there. He's not there yet.
That close.
Right? He's not there yet.
He might be. We don't know.
10 days hard riding? I mean,
yeah, they made sure you had fresh horses, right?
I'm just saying.
I think you're suggesting, Jeff, that word could have gone back and forth like via Raven to Tyrell and back. Like he could get there, then they get a Raven from King's Landing, and then now Littlefinger knows of the riot from a Raven,
right? Or I think he hung around, spread the word that like, hey, let's fuck these Lannisters. And then he rode out, knowing that it was about to ensue.
You think Littlefinger hung out for 10 days and then just went out?
How would he have known the detail that Sir Preston died?
He might have paid the people like, "Hey, this is the guy you got to kill. Look out for him."
Why him? Why not anybody? Why not Meryn or Boris? Like, you had 4 there, and you had to go kill Preston. That doesn't make sense.
So I think some of the theories say that Preston is in with Littlefinger, is in on Littlefinger. There's not a lot of evidence why he would be. Except for that, like, they really can't tell who his body is. They just, like, they're looking for his armor. They can't find it. They finally find it because it's all covered in blood. And even then, he's so fucked up. I think, like his body's not even in his armor, right?
No, I thought
the one is his head is smashed in.
That's Aaron Santigar, but isn't there a thing like his body is unrecognizable for Preston Greenfield?
His cloak was because it was just brown and red.
But nothing about his actual body. I thought I think there's a theory where like Preston Greenfield basically escapes into the mob, kills somebody, and then puts the random person in his suit of armor, and then just covers it in so much blood.
Maybe. I mean, so like that. If Littlefinger's going with details of the thing, and it's just like a random person dying, I'm saying that they had Ravens.
So a lot of the evidence for the riot is Littlefinger has connections with the gold cloaks previously. I think this is a little sus, right? Like we know he bought out Janos. Like that was a gold cloaks deal. But like, does he know like Janos is gone? Does he still have like enough connections in the gold cloaks to be like, hey, let's hook this riot up? But the one thing that is suspicious is how does this woman get through? How does one woman get through with her baby?
Yeah.
Did 2 gold cloaks maybe get paid off and like, hey, this woman's going to be here. You be here. Let them through. The other thing is like, if you're going to throw, what Bywater says is who do they hate most? Who does everybody in the city hate most?
Tyrion.
So why are they throwing shit at Joffrey?
Because Joffrey sucks too.
I mean, I get it. He's the king and everything. It's not ridiculous to throw shit at him.
I mean, how accurate can you be at throwing? How accurate can a poop thrower be? Maybe it was supposed to hit Tyrion.
I got you. But if you're Littlefinger and you're trying to start a riot, if you hit Tyrion with poop,
you hit the guy who's got the worst temper.
Yeah, exactly. So that makes sense.
All right. Sir Preston's corpse had been overlooked at first. The gold cloaks had been searching for a knight in white armor, and he had been stabbed and hacked so cruelly that he was red-brown from head to heel. So, sounds like they have a positive ID on him.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Just his cloak wasn't recognizable. They were looking for a white cloak, and they say he was red-brown. So, I'm feeling like they positively ID'd him.
I'll give a shout-out because we are going to get into some theories asked by a new fan, Emma C. in the Discord. She was dropping some spoilers in the YouTube comments. Let's try and avoid doing that because we got maybe people who are on the first listen through, and we also might got Kyle looking through those comments. So if you're into spoiler talk, just join the Discord. We'll talk about it there. Emma's in there now. She wants to talk about the Hound. We're gonna talk about
Emma the Goat. Thanks for joining us.
If your name's not Emma, then let me know too. That's just what it seems like. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about the Hound later because that's what she was asking about. But she called us out for having ridiculous theories, and I'm sure it was mostly me, not a Jeff Glow thing, because mostly you guys are telling me I have ridiculous theories.
Yes.
But I want to clarify that I like talking about theories. I don't believe in most of these. I feel like I'd say this a lot, that I'm not 100% on it, but I like talking about it. I like throwing it out there, seeing what you guys think. So I don't think Preston Greenfield faked his death. I think that, unlike one of you guys was arguing against this earlier, but I think it's possible for Littlefinger to tell the mob, kill this guy.
I agree with you there, Nelson.
Say that one more time.
I think Littlefinger could pay 20 people and be like, your 20 people's job is go kill Preston Greenfield. Like,
okay.
Once shit kicks off, wait till shit kicks off. It'll kick off. Then you guys go kill him. I feel like a second ago, one of you guys was saying, like, you can't control, like, how come Mandon Moore didn't die?
No.
I mean?
No, that's not what I was saying. I was saying, why Preston Greenfield?
I got you. So one of the theories is that he faked his death. I don't know if I believe that one. Throwing it out there, letting you guys know, letting everybody know.
I'm saying he's dead in the mud.
I 100% believe that Littlefinger had something to do with it, and I think it's because he probably paid people to kill Preston Greenfield, not because Preston Greenfield faked his death. He was in on Littlefinger or anything, right?
I think he's dead, and I don't think anyone had any choice of, like, you have to kill Preston Greenfield if you're killing anyone.
You don't think Littlefinger paid anyone to do it?
Why just Preston Greenfield? Why not all the Kingsguard? Why not just kill them all?
So, I mean, I could see Preston Greenfield, Mandon Moore, or Preston Greenfield, Boris Blunt, or Marin Trant. Mandon Moore is, like, pretty heavily theorized to be Littlefinger's man. And we'll get into, like, how that kind of makes sense later in this one.
Why not kill one of Cersei's close people?
Well, Mandon Moore and Boros, we kind of find out they're pussies and kind of incompetent at their job later.
Yeah.
So, again, I don't know.
Just keep them. Keep the incompetence.
It might. So, Jeff, to what you're saying, it might make sense. It's easier to kill the incompetent ones, right?
And then fill that man with your man in Loras.
Exactly, but then he's competing against Preston Greenfield. Instead, when Loras comes in, he's competing against Boros and again. Was Littlefinger thinking about that? I don't know. Is it possible that Littlefinger had this planned out? I still think yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's take a quick side tangent from Littlefinger real quick and talk about the Tyrek thing, because Tyrek is the one thing that it really doesn't make sense why Littlefinger would need Tyrek, except for the same reason that Varys does, where if he thinks that at the end of the day all the fucking Lannisters are going to be dead, then Tyrek is a very valuable hostage. But right now he's just like a fucking very, not way down the line, but he's after Jaime, Cersei, like he's after everybody, right?
So yeah. So what happens? So is he mentioned again till he's
horse? Really not even mentioned. Like, I don't even think Tyrion mentions him when he's saying, like, here's the procession, that here's everyone who's riding through the riot, right? Like when he says, like, Bywater's up front, Aaron Santagar, this person, Cersei, Jaime, Lancel, like Jaime, not Jaime, but like Cersei, Lancel, Bora, like when she goes to it, like Tyrek's not even mentioned. So he's deep. Like he's probably back there with like Lollies and those guys, right?
Yeah.
And in this chapter, we really only hear about him when Bywater comes back and he's like, Tyrek's missing. We don't know where he's at. And so is the crown. And Tyrion's like, all right, go find Tyrek. I want him. They don't find Tyrek. They don't find his body either.
Right.
In book 4, Jaime says to somebody, I forget who he says it to, but Jaime says, I think Varys was behind the riot in King's Landing because, like, why wasn't he at the docks? And Tyrek is missing now, and I think Varys kidnapped him, right? Because I think at this point Varys is gone with Tyrion, right? Like he's the whole like, Mountain Viper trial happened. Tyrion's in trouble, escaped, right? Varys is gone. He's not actually gone. He might be in the.
So is Tyrek with Maester Illyrio?
There's not. I'm not sure what the actual like theories are for Tyrek, like the actual legit theories. But there's
him being a horse.
There's a meme theory that's become really popular recently in the fandom, and the reason it's become popular is because a lot of the really big YouTubers for theorists did this like weird like trivia show where there's one of the theorists brought on 4 other theorists, and he would give them 4 theories from like forums, and they had to pick out which one was real and which one was fake. And one of the options he gave them was Lyanna's a horse, Sandor's a horse, Tyrek is a horse. I forget who it was, but it was a 4th person who is a horse. And all of the theories were real. People have theorized about all of these, but all the real theorists thought that like Tyrek was a horse was like a fake theory, because like why the fuck is anybody theorizing about Tyrek? He's literally mentioned like 3 times the entire series. But it's a meme thing where someone posted on Reddit, because in book 4 when Jaime's talking about it, he's like, I think Varys had something to do with the King's Landing riot. The last time Tyrek was seen, he was a horse. And then that he was taken.
He was
taken
a
by
horse.
It was a horse, and he was taken by the mob. So there's just a ton. I'll post them in the Discord. There's just, and I don't. They're not funny when you see them
were
the first
showing
time.
me all these memes.
They're so
it's
funny
like,
to me now. The first time I saw them, they just weren't funny at all. But now it's just like you see a horse and someone puts the word Tyrek Lannister under it, and I just crack up, dude. I don't know why.
You're pretty simple when it comes to humor.
I'll dump them all in the spoiler Discord for you guys to enjoy, or tell me I'm stupid.
All right, next one.
But getting back to why everything helps Littlefinger. Besides the Preston Greenfield thing, Aaron Santigar head smashed in. What did I tell Kyle? We've heard Aaron Santigar one time before.
He was Catelyn talked to him about the blade.
He's literally the only person who probably knows anything about the dagger, except for Robert and Littlefinger.
Yeah, I forgot about that name.
He dies. Sansa gets attempted to be kidnapped. Doesn't work because the Hound's there, but we know Littlefinger wants Sansa. Right?
Yeah, why would Littlefinger not want Sansa?
He tried getting her.
The only reason why he might not want Sansa is because he's already got
Why would he want her dead?
He just wants her kidnapped.
Kidnapped. We don't know what would have happened after she got taken.
With Tyrek.
Yeah, maybe.
With Tyrek. She's a horse just like Tyrek.
2 horses. Maybe she would be the butt of the horse costume. It takes 2 people to wear a horse costume.
What I will say to you, Jeff, is in the show she gets taken, she almost gets raped. That's not Sansa. Like she almost gets so we don't know if she would have been raped or not.
Sure.
Lollies gets raped.
Yeah, I mean,
in book 1, 2 people go to dinner with Lollies a lot, and it's Littlefinger and Balon Swan. And what Kyle was saying, she's 33. Why is she not married? We learn later that she's like their land is pretty wealthy, and they actually have lands. They actually have rights through marriage to another house who's probably going to run out of heirs, and they're going to inherit their lands. So she's probably going to be a very wealthy.
She's going to have a good dowry.
So if Littlefinger doesn't want anyone to marry there, and again, the theory why he wouldn't want this to happen is because of debts, right? We've already heard early in this book. We've heard it one time, but earlier in this book, a Braavosi moneylender came calling in King's Landing. Tyrion said, "Oh, send him to Littlefinger." Right, but again, the Littlefinger debt scheme is all about let's raise debts in King's Landing when they call back loans from all the small houses because King's Landing says no, they're going to call back loans from all the small houses, which starts happening in later books. And Littlefinger is like, "Oh, you need to pay them back? I'll give you some money to pay them back with," and now he holds all the power. Right? Isn't
it a little bit goofy that they're sending Myrcella to Braavos with the Iron Bank there? Couldn't the Iron Bank be like, all right, fuck, we're just going to hold Myrcella?
That's a good thought there, Jeffrey.
Because they actually have an army. They actually have the gold company.
You're right. The thing is, we don't know what maybe when Tyrion says, send that money lender to Littlefinger, maybe Littlefinger tells that guy his plan, right? Yeah. Again, we don't even know if that's Littlefinger's plan. This is a theory. But if that is Littlefinger's plan, maybe he says, you know what? Just let the crown keep saying no. And in a year, ask everyone else in the Vale, tell them they have to or there's going to be trouble, and you'll get your money, but it'll be through me. I'll pay them to pay you, and now I'll hold all the power, right? They might not care because they get their money, and now Littlefinger, it's a win-win. So we don't know what's happening behind closed doors between the Iron Bank people and Littlefinger. But
all right, next, moving on.
The Littlefinger. And so the big thing that to me makes this is 100% true is the fact that we hear he's telling Mace Tyrell about it before.
I believe you. Again, I'm not looking into that much because I'll have to ask you the timeline. Like if it's 2 months later,
is Bitterbridge a house or is it a camp?
It's a castle.
It's a castle.
It's a castle. So Ravens could fly there.
Yeah. So the thing is, Mace isn't there. I think Mace Tyrell's still at Highgarden. Loras is. Mace didn't ride with Renly. I don't think.
I don't know.
He would have been at Storm's End if he did.
You're going to have to timeline that combo out with me for me to believe that he already knew that it was going to happen.
The thing is, I don't see how he would have known at the time he's telling people about it. He tells Sansa.
But we don't know when he's telling them about it.
He's telling people when he's with Mace Tyrell.
Sure. When does he get to Mace Tyrell?
After
how long after
he
this
leaves
ride?
King's Landing.
Sure, and how long after this ride? It's only 10 days after he's left.
So here's my question. Even if Mace Tyrell is getting news of the riot, is he getting news that Preston Greenfield died?
Maybe. It's a honorable position in the kingdom. It's probably
that's pretty true.
It's probably in the newsletter Oh yes, and one of the Kingsguard died. Like
I don't know. I feel like that's something
that's like that.
I feel like that's
like
news that you get by via hearsay once it spreads, right? Like
it's spread. It spread. Every rumor spread like wildfire in this.
Like
fucking
Stannis
town.
sent ravens to everyone when he wanted to know there was incest. I don't think we're just like, oh, Preston, like you don't have like you have to bring that raven back.
If
you literally have to travel that raven back via horse.
No.
Yes, you do. Logistically, that's how it works. Ravens fly to one place.
Sure, they fly one place. That doesn't mean you can't send in your letter that there was a riot, which maybe you don't even send I'm not saying that this is definitely Raven news, because I don't know if a riot is Raven news to send to every castle. Yeah. That's not what I'm trying to say.
I don't think King's Landing would send that news out.
You're just saying it's possible. Jeff.
I'm just saying, like, if it's 2 months later, there's possible that word got out, and it's not that Tyrion or that Littlefinger had already known about it. If it is literally like this happened 10 days later, and we find out 11 days after he left King's Landing that he's having this conversation, obviously that's a lot more credence to him already knowing what was going to happen. But if it's 4 months later that he's having this conversation with Mace or whenever, however long it takes, that just doesn't hold as much weight.
I agree with you there, Jeff.
Yeah, and again, I think a lot of what ties this in is how Stannis is related to King's Landing, and Courtney Penrose is doing this hold here. And like Courtney Penrose holds for basically, again, I think as
14 days.
14 days, right? It should be exactly how long it takes for how long Stannis is waiting at Storm's End. So there's 14 days between the time Loras leaves and the time Stannis leaves. So Loras has a 14-day head start to Bitterbridge than Stannis does to King's Landing. Again, I don't know how that works out in terms of what you're asking, but I feel like the timeline you're asking for, we could figure that out here. Because like there's a lot of interconnected pieces that we know dates for.
I mean, once he's having the conversation with Mace, how long since the last Tyrion chapter?
10 days.
The thing is, we don't know, right? We don't know we don't know anything about Littlefinger until he gets back.
Yeah.
When does he get back? How long ago?
So how do we know about this conversation with Mace? I guess when do we find out that they had?
I think the last Sansa chapter, and this is what's confusing. So I think Littlefinger, this is a theory that I'm 100% on, and I'm going to give you guys a counterpoint right now. The last Sansa chapter of the book, I'm pretty sure is after the Battle of Blackwater. Littlefinger's back. Littlefinger is said like, oh, we're going to give you Harrenhal, I think. Joffrey says, I'm going to take Margaery as my wife. Sansa, you're done. And Dantos gives Sansa a hairnet. Okay. Why is Littlefinger bringing it? So it makes sense that Dantos gives the hairnet when Littlefinger gets back. Littlefinger gets back, give Dantos the hairnet. Dantos gives it to Sansa. Why is Littlefinger bringing a hairnet back if he thought Sansa was going to be kidnapped in the riot? But like you're saying, Littlefinger could come back 4 months from now.
Right.
What's important is when he was telling Tyrell about the riot versus when the riot happened.
Right.
If he's telling him about the same time, what I'm proposing is that I don't think Littlefinger hears about the riot till he gets back to King's Landing, regardless of how long that is. Maybe if it's like 3 months, news gets there, but even is news about Preston Greenfield getting there, and if it is, then why does Littlefinger have to spread it? Littlefinger's like, I'm spreading this news. If it's already there, why is he spreading it?
I don't know if he is spreading. He's having a conversation with one guy who he's trying to get.
He's spreading it so that he can recruit Loras.
Yeah.
Let me look up the exact quote that he says to Sansa real quick.
I'm not against you that Littlefinger was in. I know.
We're both just kind of playing devil's advocate to figure out the theory. Oh, so he did go to Highgarden. He didn't go to Bitterbridge. When I came to Highgarden to dicker for Marjorie's hand, she let her lord's son bluster while she asked pointed questions about Joffrey's nature. He's talking about Olenna. So when he said her son, he's talking about Mace. So she let her son buster while she asked pointed question. Mace was blustering. I praised him to the skies, to be sure, whilst my men spread disturbing tales among Lord Tyrell's servants. That's how the game's played. So he told Tyrell that Joffrey was awesome while his men...
Yeah. Yep. Well, his men said, Joffrey's the fucking worst.
Next one. I also planted notions of Sir Loras taking the white. Not that I suggested it. That would have been too crude. But men in my party supplied grisly tales of how the mob had killed Sir Preston Greenfield and raped Lady Lollies, and slipped a few silvers into Lord Tyrell's army of singers to sing of rhyme red wine, Serwyn of the Mirror Shield, and Prince Aemon the Dragon Knight. A harp can be as dangerous as a sword in the right hands. So I think all those people are famous Kingsguard knights.
Yeah.
Right. So again, to your point, he's at Highgarden. He's not at Bitterbridge, so he's at a bigger place. Makes it more likely they actually would have gotten news of a small thing. But again, I still think a very
much
unlikely
farther away,
news.
and much farther away.
Further away, but again, if his
I just don't think it's that unlikely. It's one of the highest positions in King's Landing. You're one of the 7 guys to protect the king. That's like the Secretary of Defense.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, like one of the generals going down.
And when Barristan was dismissed, I think we were hearing about that at other places. Like Tywin heard of it. Like Tywin was talking to. But again, I feel like that's bigger news than Preston Dime. But maybe I'm wrong. Right? Who knows? You might be right.
It's good gossip talk.
Let me put it this way: if you're a knight, what's the highest job you could have as a knight?
Kingsguard.
So how does that word not get out? Every knight's going to be like half chub right now that, oh my God, I could be the next Kingsguard man.
I get what you're saying, but I guess the thing, my argument to that would be, if that's already news, like if that buzz is already going around, why does Littlefinger have to tell his men to spread it and pay Harpers? I mean, I guess the pay Harpers makes sense. Like
pay Harpers is like
sing these songs in this guy's presence, but like you should have to pay people to spread this news, right? Just like you're spreading news of Joffrey being bad.
I think it's more or less, let's spread the news that being a Kingsguard would be a great next step for the Tyrell family.
Spread news of the grisly death was literally, I think, the quote.
Yeah, whatever. Let's get off it. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, again, I think this is a theory that, again, I say a lot of theories I'm not behind. I just like to call them out. This is one I'm behind. I think Littlefinger 100% was behind.
I feel like, I mean, he's definitely a puppeteer of.
I think in Winds of Winter, Tyrek Lannister is going to pop up under Littlefinger, next to Littlefinger.
All right, let's get into the Hound.
All right, so basically, Emma was asking.
Goated character. He's a goat for sure.
Goat character.
Best character in the book.
She's saying one of his favorite characters. You're too Glow. I think she said it was his favorite.
I like him. I'm a little upset he doesn't say cunt.
I think he actually does. I think I said he doesn't say cunt once, but I think he's already said it. I think he said it in the last Sansa chapter, but I'm not, or one of the Sansa chapters.
He's earlier. frequenter in the show.
I feel like I claimed that during book 1, and then I had to retract it when I was wrong.
The next chapter, he said cunt real quick.
Yeah, but he definitely doesn't say it as much. You're right. So she's basically saying, are there any other theories except for Clegane Bowl and Gravedigger? So Gravedigger, I don't know what you guys think. To me, that's another. I put that right up.
The guy has his horse.
He has his horse. You have to walk.
Oh, does it really have his horse?
Yeah, they have his horse on the island. You have to walk to get to the island. You have to walk 1.5 miles through like a lake over like cobblestones and mud. You have to like know the path. It's called like the Path of Faith. Yeah. And they talk about how Stranger, the Hound's horse, doesn't like listen to anyone except for the Hound. So like, how do you get that horse here unless the Hound is with you?
Yeah. Well, how does the Hound know the path?
He's with the elder brother, like the same way Brienne gets there. She gets led by somebody else. Okay. My claim is that guy couldn't lead the horse by himself. He would need the Hound, or else the horse would just like kill him. They even say at the Quiet Isle, the horse has like broken somebody's ribs, and I think like broken like the horse has fucked up a ton of people already. Right?
Yeah.
The guy who's digging the grave, there's a dog next to him, and then literally like when Brienne's talking to the elder,
limp too.
I think he has a limp. He's bigger than Brienne. And I think when Brienne's talking to the elder brother, he's like, he begged me for mercy, but I've never been
Brienne
able to take a life.
fucks him up, right? That actually happened.
No, that's only in the show.
Why does he have a limp?
It's the inn at the crossing where Arya kills Polliver, the guy who took Needle.
Yeah. What happens to the Hound?
I forget exactly what he gets fucked up.
I think he gets a cut on his leg and that gets infected or something, right?
Yeah, he gets fucked up. There's no Brienne in the books.
So when does Arya leave the Hound? I forget that.
It's similar where he just like can't go. He's too fucked up and he can't go on anymore.
And she's like, all right,
he has like an infected.
He's like, kill me.
Yeah, and she's like, no, fuck you. I'm leaving.
I think that part's the same. Yeah, it's been a while since I read that part, but I think that part's all the same.
All right. No, I definitely think he's Gravedigger.
Yeah, so I think the Gravedigger is like 100% thing. So she's saying besides that and Clegane Boy, and again, in terms of Clegane Boy theory, I don't think there's really any evidence that they're going to fight, except for that everyone in the fandom wants them to fight.
Yeah.
Like they just think it'd be badass.
And they don't meet they don't meet in King's Landing with Zombie, and he's like, you know what's coming for you.
But yeah.
I hope it doesn't go like that.
You know it's. I thought it was a decent fight. I don't know.
No, it was cool.
I mean, it's pretty stupid. You get stabbed through. I
just wanted to be as different from the show as possible at this point.
All right, I think he's in love. I think he loves Sansa.
Yeah. So the big Sandor theory, besides Clegane and Gravedigger that I know people call it Sansan. That there's something with Sansa and Sandor.
I think she loves him too.
There's definitely something weird there, right? So do you guys know anything? What do you guys know about Sansan, right? What is some evidence that there's something there? There's one big one. And George has like people. I don't know if this was even a direct question from George. Like, I'll get into it in a minute, but do you guys? There's one thing on something I'm thinking of. Sansa thinks of something that never actually happened.
Yeah, you've said this before. I don't recall.
I don't recall.
Sansa at least three times later will think that Sandor, the Hound, kissed her at like when he goes to the room at the Battle of the Blackwater. And what happened is basically he grabs her, pulls her really close. She closes her eyes, and she's like thinks that he's like gonna kiss her or rape her or something. But then she's like, and nothing happened.
Yeah.
And then in her first chapter of A Storm of Swords, she's thinking to someone like, "Oh, I wonder if they would have liked the Hound kissing them like he kissed me." And then twice later in Feast of Crows, she thinks like, "Oh, I didn't like it when the Hound kissed me, but like he never did." And I don't think
she's dreaming about it.
Yeah, and the quote from George, I don't even think it was like somebody asked him about this directly. I think what it was like a question about the unreliable narrator, and he used this as an example. He said, "Yeah, Sansa thinks of a kiss that never happened, and it's going to come up again later in the books.
Yeah,
like it's going to be important. Like he has said, it's going to be important. Whatever.
Well,
like
if he could fucking get off his arse and write,
or get on his arse and write.
Yeah. So I was doing some digging on some Hound theories. Yeah, but the one that I was kind of liking, the gist of it was that so people in the fandom call this the unkiss, this kiss that Sansa remembers that never happened. And one of the theories that so again, the way the resurrection works in the books is slightly different than in the show, right? So Beric dies. In the show, Thoros runs over and like whispers something, he's good. In the books, he like literally kind of gives him like CPR. But like, so we've heard of the Ironborn giving CPR, like actual CPR, and like water coming out of their lungs. Right. This is like a magical CPR where they say that like you breathe fire into them. But again, like George has used fire for life. Like I think like they say like, oh, and his fire has gone out, right? They say like when Mace Raymond dies and stuff like that. So like when you're breathing life into him,
now over.
Yeah, it's more of like a magic CPR, right? Whatever Thoros is doing to Beric when he gets his eye stabbed out is not the same thing that the Maester is doing to Dunk when Dunk drowns, right? Yeah. It's not physical CPR. But Thoros actually tells the Hound tells Arya, he tells somebody, I've saved Beric 6 times and I don't think I could do it again. Like every time I give something of myself and I think a 7th time would kill us both. Like I would just give up what I have left and it wouldn't be enough to like restart his fire. So, and then what happens the thing that's always confused me, and it makes sense when you look at that quote from Thoros, is how does Stoneheart pop up?
Beric gives his little bit of fire left into Stoneheart. Maybe that's why she doesn't have that much of a heart.
Well, my question about that was always, why does Beric die when he resurrects Stoneheart, but Thoros doesn't die when he resurrects
more fire?
And again, Thoros, exactly. He's a living person. He's giving a little bit of himself to Beric every time. Beric's coming back with like just enough to reanimate himself. He says like, I don't even remember. I don't know who I was married to someone. I loved her. I don't even remember her name anymore. Yeah. I don't even remember my castle anymore. Like he's not all there. Like Thoros is giving him enough to come back, but not enough to be
right. Beric. It's like Voldemort.
Yeah. So when Beric gives that up, he's giving up like he doesn't have his whole self. He just has like a little bit of himself to stay up. So people think that the unkiss is going to be the last kiss. That's what they call the
Sandor's giving his last kiss to Sansa.
And again, like who knows if it kills Sandor, maybe it just brings her back. But the thing is in the show, we see Sandor join up with Brotherhood Without Banners, who are all about that magic, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't really seem like Sandor's about it. And that hasn't happened in the books, but Sandor has witnessed it. He killed Beric and saw it happen.
And he gets brought back right in front of his eyes.
Which makes you think, if anyone's going to believe this shit's true, it's going to be Sandor.
And he's the one that's afraid of fire. So maybe he finally embraces fire.
Yeah. And so the other thing that I'm thinking of is like he hates fire. Sansa's kissed by fire, right? Redheaded.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Good luck.
So a lot of people think that like the Sansan thing is that, they're going to fall in love happily ever after. This is a Song of Ice and Fire. That's not going to happen.
If that was true, Jon and Dany would be running around King's Landing right now with little Targaryen babies.
Yeah, exactly. So I think there's something there, right? I think there's definitely something to Sandor and Sansa. They're going to meet again. Something's going to happen there. But I don't think they're going to, oh, this is great, happily ever after. I think it's going to be like he sacrifices his life to bring her back. Or who knows, maybe she gives him the last kiss to bring him back. She's the one misremembering it, right? Like
that's true.
Yeah.
The other thing that people think is maybe she knights him because he's not a real knight. He says, I hate knights. And she's the one that's all about like, oh, true knights. You're no true knight.
Yeah, but he's the most true since Dunk.
The other thing that I don't understand about that is how do you knight like Sansa's not a knight. Like can say like,
Well, if she becomes queen.
Catelyn said the oath. She's about to be fucking.
But that's different. That's
different.
an oath of fealty than knighting somebody.
But if Sansa becomes a
knight.
Queen, though, Nelson, she has the power to knight.
Okay, then she might have the power. Okay, that makes sense.
I was gonna say if she's a lord, if she was the Lord of Winterfell, would she have the power?
So Jeff, you kind of made a good segue into this next one. So some connections to Dunk. This is a theory I've definitely thrown by you guys before.
The Hound is Dunk's kid.
They're not actually related, but there's a lot of parallels between the two. But the way we're gonna get into this,
you're thinking of the Red Spider.
Oh, the Red Spider.
Sir Dunk loves the Red Spider.
So that's another one. You've pulled up two already, but let's take it back a few steps.
I'm just a theory goat.
You are.
Emma.
Let's take it back a few steps. There's a theory, I think I told you guys before, that has to do with the victors at the Ashford Meadow tournament in the first Dunk and Egg book, and people Sansa is going to marry or like is going to be betrothed to, or like a suitors, right? The victors are Lionel Baratheon, Leo Tyrell, Tybolt Lannifer, Humphrey Harding, and Valar Targaryen. The reason people think this is a Sansa thing is because Humphrey Harding is like a fucking niche family, and Sansa is currently set to marry, not set to, but like Littlefinger basically told her like you're gonna marry Harry Harding, Harry the heir, right? Lionel Baratheon,
fake heir, because it's Timett, son of Timett.
Maybe. Yep. So let's go over. But again, the point is the families of the victors of the Ashford Meadow, are people Sansa's potentially going to be suited with.
So
Lionel
Baratheon,
Joffrey Baratheon, Leo Tyrell. Aleta's trying to set her up with Willis Tyrell.
Yeah.
She does marry Tyrion Lannister, Tybolt Lannister, when is in the tournament. Humphrey Harding, Harry Harding, and the last one is Valar Targaryen. So normally where I think that's where I've stopped with you guys. I think I've talked about this before, and where I've stopped with it is people think Sansa is going to at least be betrothed to Fagon at some point, right? But the theory that I was hearing about Sandor takes this a step further.
What if it's Jon and she gets married to Jon?
That's actually another one. That's actually another part of the theory. Is that
I'm
actually
a
the
fucking
Targaryen is Jon?
god.
You are, yeah. That's actually another one. If people think it could be Jon, Sansa Jon. A lot of people don't like to discount it because they don't want this incest. And again, incest makes sense for Targaryens, but Sansa's not a Targaryen. Like, it makes sense to keep bloodlines pure, but if you're fucking Sansa, you're not keeping the Targaryen bloodline pure, you're keeping the Stark bloodline pure.
Yeah, and the Northmen are not about incest.
So again, I don't think the Jon thing makes sense. Again, but that is something that has been in the fandom. Jeff, great call, bringing it up.
Johnsa.
Oh my god.
What the theory I saw does is takes this a step further and says, let's look at the actual winner of that tournament. And it's Dunk. There's a big trial of 7. Dunk walks away winner. And then it says there's a ton of parallels between Dunk and the Hound. What's the very first scene we ever see of Dunk?
He's riding down a butcher's boy.
Of Dunk.
I know.
Opening scene of Ashford Meadow. He hasn't met Egg yet. What's just happened?
He's sleeping by a tree?
By himself?
No, with a dead man. He's grave digging.
He's grave digging. Very first scene, Hound's digging a grave, puts Sir Arlen a Patreon. Very last thing we see of the Hound is Gravedigger. Again, does this make sense? Not really, because the Hedge Knight was written way before. A lot of the people in the theory will say, oh, the end of the Hound story is the beginning of the Dunk's. But Dunk's story was written before, like, Feast of Crows or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't line up like that time-wise. But interesting that the Gravedigger is in both.
Yeah.
This one I think is kind of but the Hound, his whole face is scarred. And in book 2, when Lady Weber is basically complaining about like, oh, the water, we diverted the water or whatever, this guy has to pay with blood. Dunk cuts his own cheek. He cuts like a big scar like across his whole cheek. So Dunk has a big scar on his cheek. It's one of people say that's another parallel. I think that one's a little F.
All right. So let's talk about the redheaded, curly-haired girl.
Hold on. Let's go back to the other one you said first, Jeff. And then we'll get to glows.
The redhead.
The other one. You said another one. You said another one. Then the Hound is regarded as the first ever Kingsguard non-knight Kingsguard.
Oh, and Dunk isn't technically a knight.
We're pretty
he's
sure,
not a knight.
right? That Dunk is not a knight, so he
And
was actually the
he's,
first non-knight Kingsguard.
Yeah.
So what were you gonna say, Glow? What's yours?
Parallel, they both protect people that are hiding themselves.
Exactly. Him and Arya, him and Dunk and Egg. Yep, that's another one.
He falls in love with a redheaded curly girl.
Yep, and Dunk demands a lock of her hair, and the Hound demands a song from Sansa. That Dunk, in the first one, he sees a puppet show of Florian and Jonquil. In the Hound, the song he demands from Sansa is a song of Florian and Jonquil. She doesn't remember it, and she sings a different song, but that's the one he asks for.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think some of these are kind of weak because like she doesn't actually sing in Florian and Jonquil, so like is that a parallel? I don't know, but he asked for it, so I'll throw it out there. In the third Dunk and Egg, when John the Fiddler, right? There's the fake John the Fiddler is actually the Blackfire pretending to be John the Fiddler until he's ready to reveal himself. There's a part where they're up on the top of the tower and Dunk is really drunk and he says, "I'm drunk as a dog," and John the Fiddler says, like you should be my dog. Basically, like you should be like myself, like my personal guy. And
I'll call you dog.
Like he literally says the word like dog. Yeah. So there was a few other ones that I saw online, but I thought those were. I put in a few that were I put in a few that I thought were stretches, but I thought some of them were even. More
I'm
stretches.
pretty much throwing out all the good ones. Just let me talk some more.
But I mean, just like again, I think it's. At this point, we're already putting in stretches, and then you have to go with the whole, like, is the Sansa suitor thing really going to match up with the Ashford tourney? And then even if that's true, like, with the whole Targaryen thing, is the Hound really going to come after that? And, like, are they going to get married? I think it's an interesting theory to think about. Like I said, I don't think this ends up with a happily ever after Sansa Hound marriage. So I don't think, like, this whole theory seems to kind of be centered around they're going to get married. And I don't think that's the ending for Sansa.
I don't either. I don't. I mean,
I still think it's really interesting
match
to think
for
about
Sansa at the end of the day.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I don't know.
What is like
awesome.
35, and
Sounds
she's
awesome,
what,
but
12?
just politically.
I don't think the Hound is that old. Like
politically,
the Hound,
I'm saying more politically than.
I know. Yeah, I'm
How
just
old's
curious.
the Hound, Nels? Pull up your notes right now.
270 or 271, and it's 290. It's 299 right now.
Like 28, 29
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, exactly. 28, 29. That is like, that's not 30. I mean, 28, 29, it's kind of 30. But hey, I mean, how many people you know are telling you they're celebrating their like 5th, 29th birthday? You know what I mean? Like 30 is a number you don't want to get to. Hound's not there yet.
It's true.
How old's Sansa? Sansa's what?
14?
12?
13? 12?
Like, I'm just saying, give him 20 years, and that's not an unheard of age gap, right? Like, age them up 20 years both, and that's an unheard of age gap.
He'd be dead, though.
I mean, in these timelines, but think about current day.
Yeah, current days, but that's like Johnny Depp dating Amber Heard. It's just a bad idea.
What do you mean? It's like an 18-year age gap. If she's like 30 and he's...
Dude, that's huge in this era. They're dying at age 30.
Yeah, dude. I'm with
in
Jeff
this
on
era,
one.
I feel like age gap is less of a thing, but if she's 40 and he's 58 and they got married, no one would blink an eye.
For sure, but he'd be dead at 58.
Yeah, that's the thing, Nels.
She's 11 too, so it's a 19-year age gap. Or
whatever. It's 18, 19-year age gap.
Yeah. All right.
But we also do have Tyrek, who's a horse, who's also married to an infant.
True. Yeah, he is. Yeah, exactly. I mean, but I think Tyrek's only 9, so even that's only like a 7-year age gap.
Okay. I mean, a horse married to a baby is still kind of weird.
I think that's all I got. I mean, there's definitely a lot of Sand stuff that like has already happened in the books that we haven't talked about. Like, I mean, that we talked about when we got there, right? Like after Sansa meets with Dantos in the Godswood, she runs into the Hound right away, right? Talking about Florian and Jonquil. He's drunk as a dog. I think he even says, "I'm drunk as a dog." The exact same thing that Dunk says to. Hey,
I like the Dunk Hound parallels.
I think there's definitely a Dunk Hound parallel. Do I think that relates to a Sansa winning? Like, even if here's the thing. I think that there could be a Dunk Sandor parallel, and I think the thing about the suitors and Sansa could be correct, and I think the disconnect could just be that they're not actually, like, Dunk doesn't actually count as the final winner, like, because the Trial of 7 was a different thing, right? Yeah. So I could see that it should be like that Dunk is just not one of the suitors. That makes sense too. There's just so many ways that this like couldn't be true, But I just think it's interesting to think about. And like you guys are saying, the parallels are cool. I think the suitors thing, again, it might be a coincidence, but the fact that you got a Harding in there, like, I think they might be the only two. They might be the only two Hardings we've ever heard of in the series too. Is like Lily, the one that Sansa's gonna marry, and this guy who won the tournament in a prequel book. So, if you're looking for connections, it's there to make. But yeah. I think this was a cool chapter.
Good chapter. A lot of spoiler talk.
Kind of like we were saying with Kyle. If I had to put the last Dany chapter in place, I put it probably in the bottom 30 chapters.
Mm-hmm.
Say there's 70 chapters a book. I think that's probably high. Say it's 60. 60 times 5, 300. Say there's 300 chapters total. Where do you guys put this? 1 to 300. 300 being the best, 1 being worst. And I know we haven't read all the other ones in a while, but like
it's hard. I'm gonna say it's top third.
I'd say 70% of A Feast of Crows is the bottom third.
I think you're gonna change your mind on that, but
hopefully I do. But when I first read it through, dude, I hated that book.
I feel like the first half of we've just gotten past the worst of the series.
Like, I feel like
things start like the rest of this book is popping off. Next one's Davos, right. Shadow Baby.
That's what I'm trying to think. Like with Shadow Baby, like the
Cord Halfhand shows up with Jon next.
How many chapters of Blackwater Bay? How many chapters of the Battle at the Wall?
That's what I'm saying. So we're on chapter right now, and this is chapter 41. Next chapter we record is gonna be 42. Chapters 57 through 62 are all Blackwater chapters.
Yeah.
Say it again, 57 through 62?
57 through 62. It's Sansa, Davos, Tyrion, Sansa.
There's so many of them though. Like how many Red Wedding chapters? There's like 4 or 5 of them. Maybe 3.
I don't think so. I think it's a Cat Arya. Cat inside, Arya outside. That's maybe maybe it might be 3 Arya right outside leading up. Cat inside, Arya again. That might be what it is. But I don't think I think it's very rare that you get 6 chapters in the course of hours. 10 hours.
Tyrion's court chapter. The trial by combat.
I don't think even them. I mean, I think we're about to get back into some of them with like.
I'm just trying to think of like the cool shit that I would expect there to be a interesting chapter.
The thing is, it's not the cool shit. It's where you have a lot of characters together and cool shit. Like here, you have POV characters. You have Davos, Sansa, and Tyrion all together, and there's a battle going on, right? So like, we're about to have Barris and Selmy, Tyrion, Victarion Greyjoy.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else? They're all a Marine about to have a battle. That there might be another.
Dany
POV.
probably shows up.
Dany might show up before the end of it. But yeah, like, and again, like up near Stannis, you got Theon, Asha.
Stan.
Is there anybody inside Winterfell anymore? You don't got Mance chapters. You might keep Mel. Mel Saunders around there somewhere. But like even in that area, you got Jon Snow could get news. I mean, Jon's dead, but you could get like news of the Wall, right? Bran, he's up there. He's out there though.
Who's gonna be the point of view at the Wall?
I mean, Ghost until Jon comes back. Val. Glow would love if Val got some POV chapters.
Yeah, just banging dead Jon.
All right, let's wrap it up.
Yep, we're going long. We're rambling now. Good one.
Right, see you guys. Like, subscribe, join the Discord. We'll see you on the next episode for Davos 2.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hear me roar.